All right.
All right, dude, just fucking cut me
I
off.
cut you off.
Yeah,
You want me to take it from here?
I went
Yeah.
to I was like, you know.
Well. Welcome back, Tasties and Taste. That's to another episode of For Those with Good Taste. Nah, doesn't have the same energy.
Welcome back, Tasties and Taste. That's to another episode of FTW GT Weekly. It's your boy, Lenny, joined again by my producer extraordinaire, Danity Kane himself. Dante, how are you?
All right, I see the energy. I'm good.
And we are joined again by our good friend D. Ray. How are you, Dave? Good?
Hi diddly ho there, neighbors.
It's the type of shit we're on this week. And we are back this week with a review of the movie Bad Boys. Forever, for life, ride, then die.
What you gonna do?
One of those names.
Yeah.
But if you could first, we're trying to get a sponsorship. We're looking for the likes of Propel, Fruit 2.0, Prime. They have like a $100 million like thing that they're doing right now, like some game. We could get in on that. Gatorade, Haterade, Powerade. Any other ones? I'm missing something. There's got to be another good sports energy drink, right?
Four Loko.
Yes. Four Loko.
Sure.
The best thing to drink before all of your games. But in order to do so, you need to go Four Loko on that like button, in them comments, hitting them subscribes, and make sure you're hitting the notification bell up top.
You know, you ask everybody for a fucking sponsorship. Eventually, we'll get someone.
Dude, we're gonna hit some market somewhere that it makes sense. Hey, and just so you know, no sponsor too big or too small. Like Dante's
now sponsored by. Oh, what?
No, what were you gonna say?
Never mind. No, you stole the show, dude. Keep
You
going.
know what's big though, Dante? Unlike your dick. Bad Boys 4, the money they made in the box office this week.
Booming.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting because you have something to say, Dante?
Just don't like that you're talking about my dick, but carry on.
Just, I thought it was a good intro to the podcast. We start with we start down low and we work our way up to our brains.
Okay.
Yeah. So we talked last week, Dante, about movies being successful in the box office this summer, and we were kind of like going through, and we had said that it felt like Bad Boys was really one of the few outside of Deadpool, especially during the summer, that had some type of a chance. But it was still like tough coming off of like a few weeks of movies that were good but didn't really perform. And I would say like a pleasant surprise. Or like, I don't like surprise might even be the right word, but like it did outperform what it was expected. So I suppose in that regard, it's a surprise, but pleasantly so, it is a success where we're at $105 million worldwide, I believe I read, and it made 5 million domestically this week on a budget of 100 million.
Yeah.
Can you pull up year-to-date box office for me, Dante, real quick? Just let me know where what we're chasing for numbers.
Talking about the year?
Yeah, that's what I said, year to date.
It's sitting at 14th right now, year to date, and it's only been a couple of days. So
Dante, people are gonna start being like, why are you here?
Just fire me. I don't know what list you're looking at though. I had it at 17th, but cool. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
You're a screen man now. You got it, Dave. We said this for years, and all of a sudden you just come in and steal the show. Go for it, man.
Yeah, I mean, through basically just opening weekend, it's only sitting like about 9 mil behind Civil War.
Dante, we talked about AI taking jobs last week, dude.
No. It's the white man taking the black man's jobs.
Yeah. What else is new?
Oh man, damn you, Dave.
So I mean, I guess is this one of two things? Is it that Will Smith is still legitimately a draw in the box office, or is it that Bad Boys Boys is the draw here.
I think it's the namesake of Bad Boys more than it is Will Smith by himself.
I think it's the two notable actors in a successful and like fun franchise. So
You had like Stephen A. Smith. I don't know if I really saw anybody else echo this statement, but like Stephen A. Smith was saying that like he still hasn't forgiven Will Smith for slapping Chris Rock at the Oscars or Academy Awards, whatever one that was. And that like I don't know if that was like a strategic thing because that was like right as the movie's coming out, but it doesn't seem that anybody really gives a shit anymore that like Will Smith did that.
no, I think Stephen A.
I
completely
didn't give a
missed the
shit
mark.
when he did it.
Yeah, he completely missed the mark on that comment because I don't think anybody in the public cares whatsoever about what happened. Like,
Well,
it
to
was
Lenny's
definitely
point, maybe he hit the mark. Maybe it was intentional just to drum up some publicity.
Well, I think, but if anything, it was to negatively impact it. I feel like being like,
right.
hey, don't forget, like he hit Chris Rock at the Oscars or whatever, you know. I did see something like on Twitter though, like where everybody gets out of pocket, and they were like, "White." Like, the tweet was like, "White people are now even realizing that black people don't care about Chris Rock."
Fuck.
And it's funny because I thought people cared about Chris Rock.
I don't think it's a matter of care or don't care about Chris Rock. I just don't think it was as big a deal as the internet made it out to be.
I mean, I think it's kind of a big deal. Like
Oh,
it's
it was
something you've
definitely a big
never
deal.
seen. You've never seen the guy walked on stage live on TV in front of like all of his peers, like the biggest people in Hollywood and in front of the world, and smacked the motherfucker upside his head.
Yeah.
But it was kind of like if you're going to do action movies, it is a little bit of a badass movie. It's like keep my wife's name out your goddamn mouth. Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely shouldn't have done it, but like, it's not. I'm not gonna absolutely just boycott Will Smith movies. Will Smith to me has been. I don't think he's like necessarily just a great actor, but I do think that he has put out a lot of my favorite movies growing up to the point where like he's probably like borderline in my top 10 like favorite actors just based on like the amount of hits that I think he's produced.
yeah, I think part of it is like for people our age, like there's a scale, and it's like Will Smith has done all of these movies that have performed extremely well our whole lives. Like really hasn't missed a majority of our lives, dude. Even the movies they tell me that are bad, like Wild Wild West, I
Oh,
greatly
great.
have enjoyed, right?
Loved it.
On top of the fact that I think he has always come off very likable in public perception. And then you have this one moment, and I think that there was this thought that like it would completely like tilt the scales, but it's like I don't know, like in a world where we cancel people for nothing in some instances now, I'm glad to see that it didn't necessarily do that. It is fucked up that he apparently is like never really apologized for it or anything, but like,
That's not something you apologize for, though.
if you mean it, you shouldn't apologize, right? Like I guess that's another thing of like standing on business a little bit, right? Like if I felt bad about it, I'd apologize, but I don't feel bad. Like you shouldn't have been talking about me. But at the same time, like I think the issue at the time is like going to those award shows, you know that there's a monologue at the beginning of every single one, and you know that like there's a chance that you're going to be the butt of a joke. I think there was more history between like Chris Rock and Jada Pinkett and Will Smith going into that, but like I think like part of it is like there is a level of expectation, and like it is a little bit crazy to get that upset about something. But I'm glad to see it didn't affect anything. I do think it is more the fact that like Bad Boys 1 and 2 for their time were great. And I think that they didn't make the third one with genuinely saying like we're going to definitely make a sequel to this, but it's like I think it outperformed from a revenue standpoint what they expected it to make. And also, I think from a quality standpoint, the third one was good enough that it justified coming back with a fourth, and that's where you see the buzz carry over to like you have everybody from like 40 and under that has grown up loving Will Smith and like has had great movies on top of the fact that 20 years later you came out with a movie that lived up to what like the originals kind of had. Like they, you know, in a way, it's a little bit like, and I've seen some comparisons with this movie to Lethal Weapon 4. Funny enough, a Chris Rock movie. Um, about like, it's like one of those things where they have to kind of play into like, I'm getting too old for this shit in a way. But I think they've done a good enough job of like teetering the line of being like that youthfulness, but also admitting like Will Smith's like mid-50s, mid to late 50s.
Dave?
Yes.
Oh, no, you're not going to look it up? Okay, cool. Yeah.
All right,
Oh.
Dante, back on,
He's spot on.
yeah, Dante, back on the keys, dude. Get us the date of birth.
I mean, mid to late 50s. You're right on.
Yeah.
No, we were looking for an exact year, Dave. What the fuck?
Yeah, I know he's in the mid to late 50s. Same thing with Martin Lawrence, right? And I think Martin Lawrence obviously shows it way more, but I think it plays in the fact that Martin Lawrence was never like the physical guy in any of these movies.
Right in the middle of 55.
I said 55. First number I said.
No, you didn't. It's not like this is recorded or anything. There's no way to prove it.
Yeah, you can't go back and check the tapes on that.
No rewind function here.
But yeah, now that we got like the performance out of the way, what do you guys think of the movie? Actually, real quick, can I ask you a question, Dave? Because you didn't watch Bad Boys 3 until this past week, right?
Right.
What were your thoughts on Bad Boys 3?
I thought it was great. I guess I had no expectations going into it. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't really know who was in it or what the story was because I didn't really have interest in it when it hit the theaters a couple of years ago. But obviously I wanted to see this new one this week, so I definitely went back and watched Bad Boys for Life, and I thought it was a lot of fun. And I really liked now I don't remember his character name, basically Will Smith's son.
Yeah.
I thought his character
starts with an A, doesn't it?
Armando, I think.
Armando. Yeah. I thought his character was awesome. Just like in terms of the actor and the guy's ability to basically like fight and choreograph like everything that he was doing. I'm pretty sure it was him that was doing all of it.
Yeah.
And I definitely I that was cool that there was a continuation of like that story basically in this entire fourth movie.
I like in the third one that it's a level of like it teeters a line of like predictable but does things along the way that like still up the stakes to like it make it feel like it means something still. And are we in the world of spoiling Bad Boys 3? I don't want to do spoilers yet on Ride or Die, but like for Life, can we speak over?
I mean, it's a 4-year-old movie, so yeah.
So like I like the shooting Will Smith part of it, or killing the captain, which obviously plays heavily into the plot of 4. And that's in the trailer. I didn't spoil it. Like doing stuff like that like I think reinvests you into the current generation of this franchise that I think made it exciting.
Yeah, it raised the stakes.
Okay, so like what we think, what are the thoughts on the 4th?
I enjoyed it. I don't know if I would say that I liked it better than the third one. I think the third one was probably better. After like just watching both of them for the first time. I did have just a little bit of like deja vu when watching this one. The start of this movie, I felt like was the exact same 20 minutes to the start of the third movie.
I think by design.
Yeah, I mean, if it.
I mean, you start off in like haven't they all started off with them riding in a car like that?
That was the thing. I it's been so long since I've seen the first two, so maybe that the first two start off the exact same way. But yeah, it's like obviously them driving throughout the car. Will Smith's doing his thing. Martin Lawrence is freaking out in the passenger car. And like in both movies, like it basically, obviously in the third movie, it's going to the birth of his grandchild. In this movie, it's going to Will Smith's wedding. But then like also in the first 20 minutes of the other movie was Martin Lawrence's daughter's wedding. So it was, I don't know, it was a lot of the same thing to start the movie, I thought.
Yeah, I think there is certainly a formula that they are following between 3 and 4, and I think there are a lot of like callbacks visually to the other movies too, because I'm pretty sure that that is something, because there's always been a big focus on like what car is Mike driving, and I think that if I remember correctly, I feel like in 1 and 2 there is kind of a similar thing. Well, does 1 start with the prostitutes or like the call girls getting like being there for the murder? Is that how 1 starts? But I think 2 starts in a car as well, similar. Or no, two starts on the at the KKK thing, doesn't it? Nobody.
I'm not going to be able to help you there.
No idea.
Sorry.
No.
Son of a bitch. I'm pretty sure.
You know my recall is awful, and that's not something I'm going to be able to Google that quick.
Yeah, does that bother you that so you don't like that they're like being kind of formulaic with that?
Having just watched the third one before watching the fourth one, I didn't like it. But like if I think the majority of people are going to have watched this third one 4 years ago, so that's not going to be as fresh in their mind. And the formula works. Like I think it was still a good start to the movie. But yeah, it was a little weird having just seen them both and basically watching the same first 20 minutes of the movie.
I think breaking it up with the scene from the trailer with the convenience store thing helps kind of like separate them a bit. And I thought the convenience store part was pretty funny. I thought as like as an end, like the entire movie, I think hit pretty well, like for being funny. Like I thought this was pretty legit.
Yeah, Martin Lawrence loves his Skittles,
Yeah, yeah. I thought like there was a lot of like funny, like just little one-liners. Like it's not like laugh out loud, but like Dante, me and you saw this in a pretty full theater, and I felt like the vibes were pretty high in the theater the whole time.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of crowd reactions. There was a lot of like applauding and laughing out loud and all this and that. Like,
Yeah,
I think that adds to the experience. Like, I feel like we don't get enough like full theaters like that nowadays, and it's definitely fun when it does happen that way, and when everybody kind of maintains a good movie theater etiquette.
Yeah, I think that like we knew that this movie was going to be good, Dante, because we saw this on a Wednesday. Like we saw an early release. New movie theater too. We went to Somerville, AMC, and I really liked it. I don't know where you kind of fall on it. Like I like the theater itself, but I'm more so like the environment.
I like that area, not largely in love with that theater. But I mean, overall, like I did actually forget we saw it on a Wednesday, and it was very much like kind of weekend vibes in that theater with how full it was.
Yeah, and I think that lends to also going. I feel like that area, that theater is probably pretty consistently busy, just based on like where it's located. It just felt like there was a lot of foot traffic through there, and a lot of people just like hanging out, which I liked. It felt like summer walking through Assembly Row, which it is, but like it's like
driving there, I walked by like what looked like a field day where they were doing like pickleball and volleyball and shit. It literally was like very summery.
Like there's people like eating out on the patios to all of the like the restaurants, and like just like families walking around everywhere. Like I was just like, yeah, I like the vibes here.
Oh, you know what? Actually, speaking of that too, remember how when we were leaving, I told you like, oh, I parked in the garage. I didn't notice it was linked.
Yeah.
That sign that says to parking garage, it's only an exit to the parking garage. You can't get in that way.
Really? So how do you have to go down and then go up?
You have to go down around.
Oh, well, that I guess that makes sense because you buy your tickets on the first floor.
But they also had the booth right upstairs where you could buy your tickets where they're checking the tickets.
I didn't know you could buy your ticket there. I guess there was one person maybe buying their ticket. Everybody else, it was kind of a weird setup now that I think of it walking in, because most people had digital tickets, but there was definitely like 2 people there that were trying to like buy a ticket, I guess. And there was one person working the desk, so she had to keep leaving them to like scam people coming through.
Like I'm used to South Bay, so like I walked in downstairs and I was just looking around and I was like, who's gonna scan my ticket? Fuck it, I guess I'm going up. And I remember looking at it and seeing like what auditorium I was in. So I just got up to the top, looked around, was like, oh, 2. And I just started walking towards it. And the lady's like, excuse me. And I'm like, you saw me standing there and looking around and you didn't say anything. Yeah. So like, why are you going to stop me as soon as I figure out where I'm going?
Maybe she thought you were looking for someone.
Maybe. But like, she wasn't even looking at me. She was looking down at her phone. She didn't say anything until I walked past her.
I do wonder, like, getting back to the movie in a way, like, part of the thing that's like, because the movie theaters have not been as full recently, I feel like the vibes for movies just haven't been as high in like, the movies themselves. And like we've talked about how like a good comedy is like greatly enhanced when you see it in a full theater because like that laughter is infectious and like that energy transfers. And I feel like that helped like my initial viewing of this movie like significantly because I thought like the vibe just like really enhanced the experience for me.
Yeah, that's like why I kind of hesitate to watch Fall Guy again. I don't know if it's going to match the first time.
Yeah. I don't know if you can get the same audience twice for that one.
Yeah.
I mean, you definitely gonna be missing out with that dude in our row, you know.
Yeah.
Singing.
Yeah, there was nobody like fist bumping in Bad Boys for me that I saw. Maybe people behind us were.
My theater was pretty packed and pretty lively on when I saw it on Sunday as well.
What theater did you go to, Dave?
I was in Braintree.
Braintree, okay. I didn't know if Braintree would have a crowd like that for Bad Boys or not.
It did, but I'll say I was a little nervous being there.
Yeah,
you know, constantly
felt on
like
edge.
looking over my shoulder.
Just kept checking your shoulder. Yeah.
I've gone back like 4 times now, dude. I feel safe.
I've gone back once since then, and yeah, definitely the whole time I was looking over my shoulder.
Somebody did walk in towards the end of a movie I saw last week, and I think it was just one of the workers because they did stand there for a minute and then they walked away. I was like, okay, safe. I was like protecting my vital organs.
Look like he was getting you backhand ready.
My hands got it.
Yeah, it's like you're fucking stabbing my forearm, bitch. Were there any outside of Mike and Marcus, were there any standouts for you guys, like character wise?
Marcus was definitely the standout for me. I honestly don't know if anybody really else stood out for me other than Mike's son.
Yeah. Well, so there's one other standout, 100% to
me. There was 2 cameos that stood out to me.
John Sally.
Well, yeah, you had John Sally, but no, you got what was his name, Kabi Lame.
Yeah, is that a like influencer or music?
Yeah,
artist,
the
right?
TikToker.
Yeah.
Oh, the
shrug guy.
That dude.
That got a great reaction out of my theater. Like I know I chuckled as soon as I saw him.
I don't know who.
I think they applauded in our theater for that. Yeah. You've never seen those memes? You're always on TikTok. You never seen them?
No idea who that is.
Crazy.
He's like one of the most like followed TikTokers too.
Really?
Like top.
And all
top
he does
5,
is
top
that.
10.
Yeah, it's just like videos of people doing like dumb or like obvious shit, and then he just does like a shrug or like I don't know. It's his thing.
Okay. Yeah. All right. We all have a thing. Who was the other cameo, Dave?
Michael Bay himself.
Michael Bay. Yeah. Okay. That was the other one that I knew. Like pulls up in the car, which me and Dante both think is the car from the first movie.
Oh
yeah, that's Mike's Porsche in the earlier movie.
Yeah, the one I was gonna say is Marcus's son, his son-in-law.
Oh God, yeah.
I mean, like I think that's like I think that scene might have gotten one of the best reactions in the movie, and
I don't know how I forgot that because that was definitely my favorite scene.
Yeah, like that scene is very funny. The action is sick, and the fact that like. They said that he had never acted before he did that scene in the second movie.
Really?
Yeah, like that was his first time ever acting.
It showed.
So, like, has he done anything else in between?
I don't know. Who's the guy who looks that stuff up? Don't we have one of those?
Dave? Dude's kind of for my job when it's inconvenient, huh?
Well, you know. I should have some stuff ready, and that's about it.
I did see like some interview where they were talking about it was his first role and like they sent over.
They're the only 3 movies he's ever done.
Like that's kind of crazy that he does that in this movie when he's not like in the other movies he's literally not said a word. And they're like, "Hey, dude, we wrote a huge action sequence for you in this movie." I thought it was like pretty great, man. And like they said that like. In the original movies, like Michael Bay, like off camera, sent like Marcus and Mike over to basically, like, before they ever filmed the scene, I think they gave him a hard time to try and get him, like, rattled so that, like, when he already walked in to do the scene, he was already kind of, like, shook up for it, and that's how they made it work.
Mm.
I mean, it was definitely a very memorable scene for it kind of having like little to no impact on the story.
Yeah. I think it's like when
No,
you go
it's
back to
huge
Bad
impact,
Boys, Bad Boys 2, like, it's one of the most memorable scenes of the whole movie.
When they check him at the door.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Chitty, chitty, bang, bang, motherfucker.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that, like when I think about the second movie, I think about that. I think about Marcus taking ecstasy in the morgue with, like, the girl with the big titties.
Yeah.
I feel like it's the same scene, but it's like when the bodies are all falling onto the back of the car, and there's, like, the chase scene over the bridge and everything stands out, and then driving the Hummer through the favelas are, like, the things that stand out to me in that movie.
Yeah.
So nobody else stood out to you guys?
No, I mean, I know there was.
I feel like you're just waiting for us to say somebody like that.
No. That was the guy I was thinking that everybody would have said. I was just wondering if there's anybody else. I thought everybody else kind of just did their thing, like nothing truly like stood out to me. I don't think anybody was bad.
I heavily enjoyed seeing DJ Khaled get fucked up.
Yes.
Oh yeah. I
like bringing him back also from the third one and, like, tying that, like, together. Joyner Lucas, another cameo that we got in this, also a dead man.
Which one?
He was when Tiffany Haddish, also another cameo. When they go to the strip club, he's the gangster who comes in and, like, takes them.
Oh, yeah.
Worcester's own, Massachusetts own, guys. Hometown boy, making it big. All right, so yeah, before we get into spoilers, recommend, no recommend?
Definitely recommend.
Yes.
See it in the theaters, definitely.
Yeah. I mean,
I think so.
To be fair, I don't think this is one where I say, "Oh my god, you have to see it in theaters," but it definitely is an experience.
No, I think it was a great first week experience. I don't know what the carryover looks like into week 2. Like, do you guys think this stays, like, pretty high up? Like, if it made 55 million this week, are we thinking it's still going to stay around 25 to 30 this week?
I think 30's shooting a little high. I think 25 is probably about the best we hope for.
To me, you have one thing for competition, and it's not a related genre. There's only one movie coming out this week.
Inside Out, right?
Yeah, like, so not a competitive genre to this. Also, real quick on trivia, do you guys know that this movie was just finished being made 3 months ago? It's like one of the fastest turnarounds for an action movie to get into the theater.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Like, they finished filming it and got it out in 3 months. Kind of crazy. Because I think I remember when they announced, like, the release date, it was like, oh shit, I thought they were just filming this. And that was the case. They were just filming it. All right, so 3, 2, 1. Spoiler. Dave, did you think the villain was predictable? Like,
I thought he was so boring and so forgettable.
Well, which one are you talking about, McGrath, or are you talking about?
Yeah, McGrath.
When did you realize the mayor was dirty?
From the jump.
I leaned over to Dante the first time I saw him, and I was like, "That's the bad guy."
Yeah, that's the guy.
Yeah,
like, Reed
At
Richards,
no point was
good guy.
Was I fooled?
Like,
yeah,
but he just had the look of, like, that's the dude in the suit. That's the guy.
Oh, hey, like, you're going for mayor. Like, I fully back and love everything that you're doing. Oh, you're a shithead behind the scenes. Like, yeah, it was very predictable.
Yeah, I thought I did think in totality this movie was predictable, and there were certain parts I didn't want to get into, like, to your point, Dave, as far as, like, mirroring the first movie. Like, outside of even the first scene in the car, it's like you get to the wedding and it pretty much mirrors. It happens earlier, but it's like the last movie, Michael gets shot. This movie, they have Marcus have a heart
Marcus go to the
attack.
hospital. Yeah, that too.
Yeah, like you kind of have these, but I think some of it with it is like, hey, these guys are getting older. I do think it's a bit weird that the whole premise of the third movie is Marcus being like, I'm done, like I'm retiring. Although he's been retiring in like every movie that they've done, so I guess it kind of works in that regards. That's where he's kind of like the Danny Glover character a bit, like I'm getting too old for this shit, like where he's been trying to retire the whole time. But
Yeah.
he has a heart attack, and I feel like he's more involved. Like in it, he felt invincible. Like I get where they told the
Doug,
story.
that was what made me love this movie.
Yeah,
Where he just leans into the whole trope of like I can't die. Like
yeah.
it was like the same thing like with like Tyrese's character in like Fast and Furious when he's fucking standing there getting shot at, just fucking
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, like walking through traffic, standing on the ledge, like all that.
Yeah.
I know you guys obviously saw it together and I was alone, but like did you guys feel like that heart attack was coming?
Yeah,
I
well,
couldn't tell
based
from the
on
parking lot.
well, I based on the like intro, obviously, like him going to the convenience store had tipped it to where like you can't be eating that stuff. Like they were already kind of telling
Yeah.
like he had been having some type of health issues.
So like when I was watching that scene, and I guess like I read into something that just wasn't there, but it still played out, was he's going through, he's like the beginning of his speech where he's like all super emotional, he's crying and he's just like, you've been my partner for life, he's now your partner for life. And then like it kind of cuts, and there's this like guy that just, he's like basically off camera hands Marcus the champagne glass,
Yeah,
and like they don't show you who he is, and immediately I'm just like, oh, that's spiked, he's about to, like something's about to happen, like he's either about to
yeah.
be drugged or something, which didn't play out at all, but
Would you have
still played
rather
out
had
to
that?
having the heart attack.
Would
Yeah,
that have been a better play, like way for it to play out to you?
I don't think it mattered, but like in my brain I was just like, all right, something's about to happen, and it did, but it had nothing to do with what I thought it was, so it was just
Yeah,
weird.
I think the way the story plays out, it wouldn't have worked because like McGrath didn't have a reason to really go after them
No.
at the beginning, so there wouldn't have been like a real reason for there to be hit like a hit on their lives or something like that, you know. Um, but yeah, no, I feel like they had kind of like showed you like with the hot dog and everything, like he was not of good health and he shouldn't be eating the candy, and like he was getting heartburn already before the wedding and felt sick. Like they kind of tipped their hand a little bit to that. What did you guys think of like uh, the scenes like with him seeing his captain? Obviously, like those things happen, or they say they happen. We don't know that hasn't we haven't died, but like when you're on those like near death like things, you like see like the other side, so to speak. And then on top of that, like the Mike stuff throughout the movie. Like what you guys think?
Talking about like the panic attacks he was having and shit.
Yeah, yeah,
I think that was just a way for them to put him in the back seat and kind of give Marcus the spotlight for a change. And I think that's one of the reasons I came out so positive on this movie, is I liked seeing it from that front, especially because like it's definitely a good tool to give an excuse to them slowing down, because Marcus has always been like the slower character, where they're getting older and they can't do all the crazy like grandiose stunts anymore. So making him now the like top guy, and like they can't do all the over the top shit, but they still kind of played it in their favor.
I thought it was the Mike stuff specifically. I thought was like I understood why they were doing it, and I agree with everything you just said. But that storyline almost would have made more sense to me in the third movie than it does in this one. Like instead, the person who was most affected by Mike getting shot in the third movie was Marcus, because Mike was like still like I'm ready to go, like I don't care. And I get that they were saying like it's because now he has like a wife and like he has something to lose, and for the other three movies he's largely just been like on his own and felt like invincible in that regard. Like I guess I understand it, but like it just I don't know if I loved the panic attack aspect of it as much.
I mean, they had to get him to take the back seat somehow, and I don't think I fully disagree with that as that being the device for it.
Yeah.
I fully agree with, I think, everything you said, Dante, and I didn't really, I guess, think of it that way in terms of, yeah, it kind of set Marcus up to be the guy to like snap Mike out of it versus like both first three movies. It's always like it's been Mike like shaken up, like, yeah, like I don't, you want to retire? I don't care. We're in this fight, like pulling him along and pulling him along and pulling him along. And I think it showed up on the bridge scene with like the motorcycle gun that like pulling off with the helicopter. And then obviously showed up in the end scene when he like slaps him in the face and like, like get back into it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I like
Yeah,
that a
and
lot.
like that, I think like getting to that point with the panic attacks, like I love that scene, right? Like I didn't like the bad boys scene in this, like when they sing the song like on the bridge, like it felt like out of place to me.
Yeah.
But I loved like the when they both go like simultaneously like rapping together after he slaps him in the face. Like I thought that worked
That was the
really
best scene.
well.
That was it.
Yeah.
Well, for that. I also agree with you, Lenny. Like the panic attack part was kind of, I don't know if that might have been the best device to do it, because I don't know, because like obviously like Mike is now in a different place in his life with a wife, and something to lose. But at the same time, us as an audience, his wife is a completely new and unknown character that we have no connection to. Like,
Did that feel weird to you guys? That
so weird.
that I
They
didn't. I thought he would have been with the girl from the third one.
they started the whole wedding scene, and I was just like, oh, okay, he's going to be marrying the ammo girl from the third movie, and it's just this, oh, she's my therapist from. I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah, and like they just it's kind of a throwaway line. Like it's like not his like actual therapist; it was his physical therapist. I'm like, oh, of course he like ended up with her.
Yeah.
And she's like fine, like as a character, like nothing like crazy, but she's okay. Like, but I just think like coming off the third movie, you would set up this like old romance that like had his back like by the end of the third movie, and like
Yep.
it just didn't. It almost was like, hey, how do we make this story work? Well, let's have Mike have this over here, and she's going to be dating the guy, so she can be the one feeding him information without knowingly feeding him information. You know, it just seemed like more of a story device than anything. And I think the other issue with the Mike panic attack thing is like, it's not. There's nothing in his character for the first three movies that would tell me that he would start having these types of issues. So again, like it's another.
I think for most people that experience those, though, they do kind of just come out of nowhere. There's never
and
really, like precursors for them.
Yeah, well, and I guess that's where I understand the idea of like I have something to lose now. Like I have to protect more than myself at this point. But and I want to be careful because like I do feel like a lot of times when we get into the review part with spoilers, it's easy to just talk about a lot of negative on a movie, on especially on movies that like genuinely I loved this movie. Like I'm very high on it, but like doesn't mean it's like there's not like nitpicks that you're gonna have I suppose with them. What was your favorite action sequence?
Reggie.
Okay. Dave,
Yeah.
Reggie.
I mean,
I don't even know if that was necessarily the best action sequence in the movie. It was just definitely the most satisfying, because in my head I'm just going back to like, the scene in Bad Boys 2 where they're checking him at the door versus now he's the one like protecting the family, and it was a very enjoyable scene because of all of that together.
I think it was really cool in the fact that like the way the scene was kind of shot out, and like they're all watching like the Ring camera footage. It felt
It's almost like they're in the audience, right?
Yeah, or like it almost felt like we were like standing there looking at that same computer, because like as like you see him like shooting all these guys, and like the quick like snaps around corners and like moving, like obviously like a Marine, like it's just like every shot was just like, oh shit, like it felt really fun.
It felt like watching like an MLG like championship. You know, like it's like you and your friends like watching like a Twitch stream as like your favorite dude is just like going off, and you're all just getting more progressively amped, like as he does like a squad wipe. It's like you're just getting like it just keeps building and building, and like
he was just clutching up in Siege.
And they did a great job because like essentially what you're doing is it's almost like you're doing like a sitcom with the crowd there to laugh at your jokes. So it's like letting the audience know, like it's like upping the audience reaction because you're reacting with the characters in the movie, like reacting to it. So yeah, I definitely think that that's the best action sequence. My other one that I really liked, I liked the helicopter a lot. I think too.
On the bridge?
No, when they're in the helicopter and it's they have the pilot to the talking to the
dude. I'm confusing the third movie, I think.
When they're doing the prisoner transport.
You're confusing the bridge, which is the motorcycle thing.
I'm definitely thinking, okay, yeah, that's the problem with watching both movies back to back.
Yeah. Yeah, the helicopter I think is another one. I thought in some instances the third movie had good action sequences, but I think that they were heightened in this movie more. Can you look up the budget? Either one of you guys at this point, for the third
Take
movie.
the wheel, Dante.
Because I know the fourth was 100. I'm just interested to know if they kept the budget lower for the third, not knowing how much money it would make.
I mean, they're both about the same. This was at 90.
Okay. Because it did feel like to me that like the action was a bit heightened in this movie from what it was in the third movie. And scenes like the helicopter, I think did it. I thought like the fight on the helicopter, him holding like the rope to like that so that they could get the sun out of the thing was great. So I liked both of those action sequences quite a bit. You'd also mentioned Dave, his son Armando. I think that he has really freshened up the action in these movies.
Yeah,
because he's like his scenes, the fight that he has in the prison yard,
awesome.
is brutal. Like the violence level in the way that he fights versus everybody else is at like such a it separates itself from everybody. I think that's why the Reggie scene works well, and I think that's why the Armando fight scenes work. It's because they feel distinctly different from all of the other action that you've gotten, not just from these two movies, but I'd say like really all four of them. The dude, like the first thing he does in the fucking fight in the prison yard is just like hit somebody in the face with a 45-pound plate from a weight rack.
Yeah, that was absolutely brutal.
Like, and it's not like he like hits him like lightly, like he
full
straight up uppercut. Yeah.
Yeah. Like you felt every hit in it, and you're like, I think these guys should be dead. And then his fight when he's protecting the girl at the end, like him like getting like sliced across the face, like him getting cut on the arm and like just fighting through all of it. I think like they did a really good job of he's not fully a good guy, but like in the Fast and Furious sense. And I think that these movies really mirror what they've done. I feel like sometime in the past 20 years, they watched the Fast and the Furious do what they did. And they were like, okay, we could do this, but with bad boys, Because I think that you look at the way that they're playing with characters, and a character like him is like straight out of the Fast and Furious playbook, where it's like he was the villain, but we can give him an arc where like he's got to redeem himself and become the good guy for us, and we can use him in any movie we want to from here on, and it just makes sense.
Yeah, I feel like that's a crazy good comparison, because then you got like you got the tech dude that's basically like Ludacris. Fast and Furious. Now Vanessa Hudgens, like I don't know, like
not a huge part, so it's not like she's like Letty or like maybe like
but it's
Jordana
building out
Brewster a bit. Like I don't know,
building out that team. I feel like is exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, I guess like Letty in a way is actually the girl from the head girl from Ammo, head woman from Ammo.
Yeah,
having like the past relationship.
By the way, I knew it was her, but I almost just didn't recognize her at all in this movie compared to the movie.
The head girl from Ammo?
Yeah.
Yeah, the haircut I think was a bit different, and it kind of throws you off.
One. Yeah.
Yeah, it throws you off a little bit. Yeah, I think there's just like it's definitely like a parallel in a lot of ways, because like Jason Statham in Fast and the Furious is a lot like what Armando is.
Yeah.
To this, like you have the sixth movie is just all Jason Statham being like the worst kind of bad guy, kills Han, like all this shit, and like gets his redemption through the later movies. movies, and is never like a perfectly like squeaky clean like good guy, but like has like a moral compass to him. And I think you're kind of feeling like with Armando that he's like gaining that like, hey, like I was a drug dealer, hey, I was a murderer, but I'm trying to make amends on what I did. Did you think it made sense the daughter of the captain, like the U.S. Marshal girl, letting him go at the end?
Yeah. I mean,
I think letting him live makes sense, but I don't know that I think letting him go made sense.
I could see that.
Dante?
Yeah, I'm kind of trying to figure out what side of it I fall on. And I think ultimately, like, she was so headstrong in like capturing him, but I think she was grateful
She never
that
wanted to capture him.
She was headstrong killing him.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And that's where I think it's okay to be like, hey, he saved my daughter. I'm going to not kill this man. But I am still a U.S. Marshal, and he did commit murder, especially of my father. So I don't know that like he should be like free, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it was enough. I don't think it was realistic for her to forgive him that way.
Yeah, like I don't know that like it's a justified jump to being like all is forgiven, he should go free on his crimes. Like, you know, um, because I think you could still use him in future movies if they are going to do a 5 or a 6 or whatever they're going to do. Like, I still think that you could use him, but you use him in the same manner where it's like he is in a way like it's work release for being able to help them with these jobs, you know?
Like a Suicide Squad.
Yeah, exactly. Like a Suicide Squad. Like it allows him to work off his debt to society to one day be free legally is for him to do these types of jobs with the Miami PD or like U.S. Marshals or whatever you want. Because I think in a perfect world, I saw somebody talk about like how they did like Hobbs and Shaw with Fast and Furious.
No.
Like maybe you're building to Armando and Reggie or like I don't know like because but I think there's a way that like that you can do stuff in like it gives this franchise life past the fact that like if Will Smith's 55, like he looks like he's probably got another 10 years left in like action movies just because like people in the Church of Scientology don't age, but like Martin Lawrence looks like he's aging out sooner rather than later, right?
Think
Well,
the
he's
next
older. He's 59.
Think the next spinoff's gonna be Bad Sons.
There you go. Or it could just still be called Bad Boys because now their dads are bad men.
Well, gotta hit your 50s to be a man, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. I just think like
In today's world, yeah.
they're definitely gonna want to start work. I feel like I was surprised there's no post credits.
Yeah.
Has there ever been?
Yeah, there was a post credit for 3. I'm pretty sure there was like a quick one. I think it was a quick one. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, it was Will Smith walking into the prison and be like, "Hey, I got something for you."
Yeah. Which to my point, I suppose, introduces the fact that like he was going to be working with the Miami
Like,
PD still,
yeah,
right? Like to where I don't know, like it's fine that they let him go. I just think it was like didn't like somewhat weird.
it didn't track. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you try to pick apart the logic in this movie, you'll end up not, knocking it a little too much where you just kind of gotta let it be what it is.
Yeah, like I said, it's easier to like nitpick it on the like things that could be done better than it is to just endlessly list like all of the things that you like about it, because at the end of the day, like final thoughts, I suppose, on it, it's like to me, like this is the perfect summer movie. It's the most like it's the most blockbuster movie that I think we've gotten so far. And I mean that in the sense of like Dune 2 is like a fantastic movie, like theatrical movie, something you need to see and you're invested the whole way through, well-told story, great action, does all these amazing things, right? We've gotten other good movies, Furiosa, Ungentlemanly Warfare. Like, there's good movies that have come out, but to me, like, this is the most like fun, like easy, super enjoyable, like 2 hour movie, hour and 45-minute movie that we've gotten this year.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much hold this on par with Fall Guy. Fall Guy kind of gave me a similar level of enjoyment.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. So Dante, we want to do rankings real quick?
Yeah. Basically just gave mine. I got to look up exactly where it is on the list, but I did put it at 3.5 stars, right ahead of Fall Guy.
So listen, I rated this highly, and I rated it on.
I saw that.
I rated it on personal enjoyment and not necessarily like I could argue there are better quality movies.
Oh shit!
What are you looking at?
I just saw where you put it.
It's got it high, man.
Yeah, like I think there is an argument to be made that I think that there are better made, like I kind of just said, like there are movies like I would say like Planet of the Apes, like Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes has more of your traditional like high rating movie because it's like it's got more of a drama to it, I suppose. But I just think like from an ease of watch enjoyment standpoint and like just leaving a theater like genuinely in a good mood, happy. I put it in at 4 stars. And I have it at number 2 behind Dune 2.
That's crazy.
I don't really disagree with the 4-star rating. I think it probably does deserve that. But I have it at 4th. So I still have it behind.
But then you have it at 3.5 stars. So like you have it, I guess what you give Furiosa 3.5 stars and Fall Guy 3.5 stars as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I just feel like I enjoyed this more. I'm not saying it's necessarily a better movie than Furiosa. I think it's a better movie than Fall Guy, personally. But I'm not as high on Fall Guy as you are.
Yeah, no. So I have this as my top 3.5 star movie, and then I have Civil War at 4 and Furiosa at 4.5.
Yeah, see, like I also couldn't give Furiosa 4.5. That sounds crazy.
We're not going to talk about this again, all right? Dave tore it down. I still like that movie a lot. We're not digging that one back up.
No, dude, listen to Lenny's.
No,
point.
we're not.
It's easy to point out and talk about the negative things, but I also really liked Furiosa. But it was also just very easy for me to poke holes in it.
I wouldn't have got that from the way you talked about it last time, but that's cool.
No, I just think it's always going to be easier to be negative on something. Like that's just kind of like the world that we live in. And like, I don't know, do people want to like listen to you just like endlessly praise? Like, I think like you can't even talk about something if all you're going to do is like just give it endless praise. In all honesty, but yeah, like I'm aware that like 2, I felt like I was putting it too high at 2, but at the same time when I'm looking at it, I'm like, dude, I had more fun with this movie than basically any other movie that I've seen this year. And the only thing is like Dune 2, I just recognize is like just like almost as perfect as I think I can get for a movie.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't have an official list yet like you guys, but see, I think what you're saying, I think I got more out of Fall Guy than I did Bad Boys. I'd probably put Bad Boys like directly behind Fall Guy.
For me, they were interchangeable, but ultimately Bad Boys came ahead of Fall Guy.
I think the nostalgia has to push it over Fall Guy for like if anything.
Really, what pushed it over for me was they're both action comedies, right? So like they're both going after the same things. But Bad Boys gave me actual laugh out loud moments, whereas Fall Guy was more just like, oh, hey, that's clever.
Yeah, I can agree with that. The thing I want to kind of segue is just one more Will Smith thing. So he did an interview, and he said the best movie he's ever made is Pursuit of Happiness. And he said a close second for him is Men in Black. And I just wanted to kind of know where you guys stand on like agreement with that, or if you think there's other movies that for you are better in the Will Smith catalog as far as like the movies he's made.
Damn, I would have to look at the catalog, but I would probably agree that Pursuit of Happiness is probably his best.
What about the other one where he was like dying and donated his organs?
7 pounds.
7
7
yeah,
pounds.
7
Yeah.
pounds. That was emotional.
But Pursuit of Happiness, I think, is better than that movie by a
I
lot.
agree.
I think it's tough because, like, if you're saying his best movie, yeah, I think that's like the most critically acclaimed that he has done is Pursuit of Happiness. Like, and he got to do it with his son. Like, I'm sure that's a large part of it.
Yeah.
And then Men in Black, I think it makes sense. Like kind of not the movie that like set it off for him, but from like a major acting standpoint, like becoming a movie theater box office draw, like it's got to be the movie that did it for him. I think like if I'm speaking from my own perspective, Men in Black's probably the number one. But I really like Hitch is a movie I really like
I mean, Hitch is
from
great.
him a lot, and it's a genre of movie that I love. You know, like I think it's one of the better rom coms like of its time. Um, I Robot is another one that I really like.
Forgot about that one.
iRobot's great.
Trying to
Enemy
think
of the State was good.
yes,
Wild
okay,
Wild West was a terrible movie, but still loved it.
Enemy of the State, I think, is like underrated from his like all of his movies. You know, it's kind of a forgotten hit.
I Am Legend.
And then I feel like Bad Boys. I mean, like we're obviously like talking about that right now. It's like Bad Boys 1 is like great, dude. Like, you know, if I was putting out a top 5, it would probably be um Bad Boys, not in any particular order, but like Men in Black, Bad Boys, Hitch, I Robot, and then 5
After Earth.
yeah, no. Yeah, maybe 5 is Pursuit of Happiness, just because I think it is like a very good quality and like an emotional movie. Like I remember like the scene of him in the bathroom, like having to sleep in the bathroom and like hold the door shut is like super emotional. But I've also only watched that movie like how much does rewatchability play in? Because all of these other movies I've seen multiple times in my life. Pursuit of Happiness I watched in the movie theater and I've never watched it again.
I've probably seen it like 3 times.
Yeah, it was once for me.
Yeah, it just didn't feel like a movie like that I needed to like put on and like watch again. Like I know how good it is. I know how well he is. I know Jaden Smith at like fucking 7 years old like is like mind blowingly good for a performance in a movie. And I remember how emotional it was, and I saw it in like a packed theater. I remember too when I was younger. But yeah, I just don't think I ever would go back and watch it
Yeah.
again. Okay. Next up, let's talk the Xbox game release.
Mm.
So Xbox did their showcase for their upcoming video games, and we got a lot of really cool stuff coming up. Biggest, so for me as a personal note, and that's why I made you guys watch the trailer. Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater, Delta Snake Eater. Metal Gear Solid is the first game franchise that I ever loved, like growing up.
Didn't it used to be a PlayStation exclusive?
Yeah, but with 5, it became not an exclusive.
Like
franchise.
yes and no. The first one was Nintendo.
Nintendo, you're right. Yeah. But that's like their first major like the game that people remember, like the original Metal Gear, like because they've re-put out the Nintendo versions and like they were top down.
I think Phantom Liberty kind of like definitely like skyrocketed.
Sons of Liberty.
Yeah.
Second game. Yeah, I like for me, like being a person who like loved like movies, like obviously growing up, the first game played so much like the cut scenes and like the dialogue and all of this stuff, and it feels like you're part of playing through a movie. It's like it just made it something I loved. And then like yeah, Sons of Liberty is like took it to another level because it was like a PlayStation 2 game. It had like the graphics were like significantly better. And then you go on to Snake Eater. Metal Gear Solid 4 was the first game I played on my PS4. Pretty sure I got my PS4 or my PS3 rather, not PS4. When my PS3 came out, or when I first got it, that was the first game I ever bought on PS3. And the only one I didn't really like was MG5, personally.
Fun fact for you guys: never played a Metal Gear game ever.
No, is it that you didn't like have the console or like what? Like you
I was
just
never a PlayStation person.
yeah.
I was always Xbox. Yeah,
So as
like I
much
had a
as
PS2, but aside from that,
I think, in all honesty, I think Sons of Liberty might be the only one I've played as well.
It's still a good one to play. The only thing that's weird with that is like people were so torn at the time because you thought you were buying like a Metal Gear Solid game with Solid Snake, and in all reality, you play as Solid Snake for about 2.5 hours of the
And
gameplay,
Raiden,
and then you're playing
yeah,
as Raiden.
so
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the game, and I think I actually played through it like 3 or 4 times. But it just, I don't know, I just never got any of the other ones.
I
I
feel
mean,
like sorry, go Dante.
oh, I'm sorry. No, I was gonna say. I mean, I'm still, even though I've never played them, I'm still familiar with like the character and everything, and like I've always kind of like liked it in the back of my head. I've just not never gone out to play it, and I do like the idea that like there's like a stealth action game coming back into the play.
Well, yeah. So, what is your opinion on that, like genre, like your Splinter
I
Cells, things
love
like that?
Splinter Cell. I was just gonna say, yeah, like Splinter
Splinter
Cell
Cell,
was
that one I played a bunch, yeah.
like what was it, like Pandora's Theory or something like that. I must have played that through like 4 or 5 times.
What's the one? Is it Convict or something like that? Is the one that I loved a lot. It's the one where you break out of jail.
I think that one came out right after the one I was talking about, but I don't think I liked that one as much.
I just loved the idea of like the breaking out of jail
I
aspect
think
of
it's Splinter Cell Conviction is what
Conviction.
I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, like I thought that like the breaking out of jail was awesome in that. And like I like Splinter Cell, the unique thing with that obviously is like they played with shadows and things like that a lot
Yeah.
better in those games. Whereas like Metal Gear Solid, like the third game took like leveled up Snake Eater itself. And it's why it's cool it's coming back. Like leveled up what you had gotten from a stealth aspect from the first two games because you brought in camos and being able to change your outfit to match your environment to be able to better blend in and be stealthier, and even like having to eat to stay, like keep your energy up and like shit like that. Like it just became an even
Hmm.
more immersive game at the time. And it like I think like this trailer gets me super excited. I've been looking forward to this one for a while. Uh, they just released in the past like 6 or 7 months the remaster of the first three games to PC, I believe, and I had meant to buy them and I just haven't because I kind of want to play them again. Um, but this one, it's like the only thing that bums me out is I feel like we still haven't gotten a release date for it. Like we're just getting like snippets and like trailers
Mm.
instead of release date.
I mean, do you feel any loyalty to Kojima in the fact that, like he's obviously not around anymore?
Loyalty, no. I feel grateful, I guess, to like what he gave me as far as a game franchise for the first four, but like I thought he kind of lost it a little bit with like I did, like I said, Metal Gear Solid 5, I just it was too much. And it's kind of like they did all those things that I talked about with Snake Eater and it leveled up what games could be so much to me. But then in 5, it tried to do too much. It became open world. It had a million different side things that you could do, and it was like a lot to follow when for a person who like I said, I think the beautiful thing about the first couple games is like, hey, it's stealth and you have to sneak around all these things, but you're really just like doing the missions to get to like progress, like you're progressing a main story and getting these awesome boss fights and cutscenes. And I feel like it was just a lot harder in 5 to immerse yourself because to like successfully do things, you had to go and like recruit soldiers to build an army and like all these other things that you had to do. That while the gameplay was still super fun and the bosses were cool, it was too much other things that he had kind of done. Um, and at the same time, it's like, yeah, he's gone, but it's not like you're getting like it looks like a new game because it looks like there's things that are in this that aren't from the original Snake Eater, but like it's not really like too far off what he had already done. You know, it's got the outline. Are you
Alright.
guys gonna play it?
I'm actually pumped for it.
It's gonna be a big no.
What?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't really necessarily have the history with the game.
I
I end
don't
up being,
either. I just again I love the genre and the idea of having like a good like stealth action game coming back into play. Like
I
I'm
mean,
for it.
I do too. It's definitely one of my favorite like genres of games and game types. But I don't know. This first initial trailer kind of did nothing for me. Maybe we'll see a little bit more, and I can change my mind with actually seeing what uh, the game mechanics entail. But
I think it's funny that the trailer starts off being like a truly stealth game, and then like 90% of the trailer is them just like shooting
Out in the
rockets
open
and like
shooting, yeah.
like full on like fighting. And it's like there is definitely that in the game, because eventually like you can sneak through a lot of it, but you like any of these stealth games, like I would even say like The Last of Us has like a lot of stealth aspects to it, but eventually like you fuck up and like draw attention to yourself.
yeah,
I would say the only game I played that you can truly like stealth your whole way through is Splinter Cell.
I mean, I've seen people stealth a whole Last of Us run.
Yeah.
the trailer, the stealth in the trailer was kind of fun. Like you had like one scene where like he just dives on the ground 3 feet away from a guy in broad daylight, and it's like, all right, you can't see me. I'm laying on the ground. And then like as he's crawling across like the rope bridge, it's like, dude, you're gonna be shifting so much weight on that thing for a guy that's walking across, like staring directly in your direction.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of that to where it's like, and like they do a good job in that game of like the guards. And I don't know if they'll do it. They didn't show it in the trailer, but in the games at least, like they'll get like the little like question mark over their head because they heard somebody like run behind them if you run too fast instead of like slowly walking, and they'll go and like it'll change their route for where they would walk, and
What was that?
they'll like go investigate the area that you were in, and you have to just try and like you hide at that point to try and like avoid them. But that can also be to your benefit. Like you have it in The Last of Us, where like you have the rocks or bricks in like the bottles to where you like throw them to create a diversion so that you can get easier access to where you're going. It can play in your advantage too. Was there any other games? Dante, I don't think that you like looked too far into this, but Dave, you looked a little bit at the list. Was there any other games that stood out for you?
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of the Fable franchise. So
Oh, Fable's coming back?
yep.
So Fable 1 and 2 were like all-time favorites of mine. The third one
Chef's
was
kiss.
trash. Third one was trash.
I'm not gonna sit here and say that the third one was trash, but it is nowhere near good. I still enjoyed my time playing it, and I did put a decent amount of time into it. But yeah, I would not rank it as a very good.
Yeah,
so
that's coming back. I'm all for it.
Yeah, it's not. I don't believe it's Lionhead. I'm pretty sure they sold the franchise. I don't remember who they sold it to. So it's definitely a different production and development team. But no, super excited for that, and just the it's I don't know if it's the first, but it was definitely one of the first games for me where it's like your choices had like a severe impact on your story and where things ended.
Yeah.
Which has obviously been done by a lot of different games now, but like it's one of the first that like kind of made me feel like I
Like
had
you were in
my
control.
own game that was different from yours.
Yeah, I like when games like your decision making impacts like what's gonna happen. You know.
Now I don't know. I highly doubt either of you guys played either of the first two games. First one I loved, and the second one was pretty bad. But I'd probably say I'm excited for State of Decay 3 as well.
I
played the
played it a
first one.
little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't play like the whole thing through. I thought it was cool. And it was a game that was 4-player too, right?
Yeah. It was also just kind of one of those games where it's like, depending on like how like severely or how seriously like you kind of played it, like your choices had big impact into like your like team development. Like, because obviously like you're building a couple people with different skills, whether it's like some guns, some foraging, some melee people, and obviously like you're going out fighting zombies and trying to gather resources. If you go out on a solo mission and you get surrounded by like an entire group of zombies and like this character dies, like your story goes on with the rest of the characters that you have, but now you don't have this character to kind of that you were building up. And I think that's one of the things that just like made me love the first game. And they did a lot of that in the second game, but there was a lot of limitations and a lot of things that weren't really developed or flushed out correctly.
Yeah, I feel like it's a game with a cool premise, but like it because it's not made by a major um game company, right? Like I feel like it felt, at least the first one that I played, it felt like a kind of a knockdown version of Dead Island, like in a way. I feel like in the way that the mechanics worked, at least not necessarily like the game itself, but the mechanics of it and like the visuals felt a little bit like a not as good, clean version of Dead Island. I might be
Eh, I don't think that, other than there being zombies, I don't draw too many similarities between those games.
I didn't put in hours on it. It was just my like initial like feeling on it. It's like pick up a weapon and have to try and like kill the zombies that are coming
Yeah.
I mean, State of Decay was more like building up a team who had
out.
like with different strategies, gathering resources, bringing them back to your base, um, like going around the map and like finding other strongholds that like could house your base and you could build bigger things and move your team over. Where Dead Island was more so just like a run and gun, like you're just kind of moving through by yourself and just gathering quests from other survivors and then just kind of moving through the story.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds cool. Like I didn't watch the trailer for it. I'll probably, I'd be down to play it when the time comes. Did you check out Indiana Jones at all?
No, I didn't check that one out.
That one looks pretty good. It's like a 5-minute trailer that they gave you for it, and it feels a lot like it feels like it, rightfully so, like a little bit Uncharted, but like they have like it's very much like Indiana Jones. Some of the dialogue didn't some dialogue felt good, some I didn't love as much with it. But I like that like you're playing as like the Indy that we watched in all of the movies, and it looks like it's going to be a very much like an Indiana Jones story, which should lend really well to like I love those types of games, like the Uncharted games. So it's I thought it looked pretty cool. I'm excited for that one.
See, I kind of got Uncharted like basically gameplay vibes from that Metal Gear Solid trailer.
But I would argue then, in a way, like Uncharted got those from Metal Gear, if that was like the way we're going to look at it, you know? Because like those
Sure.
were all things that like Metal Gear was doing way before Uncharted was ever a thing. And I don't necessarily disagree because it's very much like a Naughty Dog like way of doing things, right? Like, uh, it the thing with like Uncharted is more like puzzles and like things like that mixed in, which is a little bit more Tomb Raider ish and Indiana Jones. But I'd say like the stealth aspects you get in both Uncharted and in Last of Us, that all kind of come from that original like Metal Gear Splinter Cell world. I feel like, you know, there are other ones that are coming out that I'm not like overly interested in. Like you have a new Gears that they're working on, Gears of War. Um, Obviously there's been a lot of like Call of Duty news that's come out in the past week, which look pretty cool. Like they're finally revamping the mechanics of Call of Duty. I know Dave, you're not a big Call of Duty guy, but
Yeah, I
like
saw the whole like side sprinting
yeah, like Omni movement is what they call it.
Crab
thing.
walking.
Yes, yeah, plenty of that. But yeah, like just like they're taking like the Max Payne mechanics and putting it into Call of Duty. So being able to like run and dive in any direction while still shooting, um, the way like you round corners is going to be improved and more tactical. Like it looks like we're finally like in a game that I think has not really advanced itself in several years. You know, outside of like, hey, here's a new map every once in a while, and even that stuff is like my gripe recently when I've been talking to people about Call of Duty is like what they do to make people excited about like something like Warzone is like, hey, here's Rebirth Island, this map that we had 5 years ago, or like now people are excited because they're bringing back Verdansk, and it's like it's been 4 years. That map's 4 years old. Like, well, like give me new shit. Don't just try to like the same stuff. So at least being able to refresh the mechanics and like they're giving like simplified button layouts, so like you can have like programmed actions when you're running towards things, so you don't have to press as many buttons to do things to make the gameplay smoother and faster. And like I think there's just some interesting stuff that they're doing.
Are they going to continually, like the skin game? Like, they, like Nicki Minaj was a big selling point in the last one. Like,
Well,
Of course, that
am
makes money.
I'm
I
sure.
going to be able to play as Ice Spice?
I'm sure Sexy Red will make an appearance in it. They are bringing back Prestige mode, like, so that's kind of cool because they've taken that out of the game.
Dave really wants to play as Ice Spice, though.
Absolutely.
Too big of a hitbox.
It's the fro.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Cool. Dave, did you want to play your game here?
Sure. You guys want to give this movie grid a shot?
Yeah, I want to see if Dante can beat it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's see if Dante can.
Probably not.
This is for you, Dante, and you can phone a friend to me. Say 3 times.
Oh.
All right. I don't know. Is that I don't think I can zoom in.
I
for
can't
you guys.
I can't read it.
It's not very clear. Oh, it's clearing up. Okay. Oh, that works too.
All right. So, I mean, this is just.
Oh, so I got to come up with like
moviegrid.io. Yeah.
So I got to come up with a Leonardo DiCaprio movie with a 2-word title.
Yep. Now,
Shutter Island.
The thing to this is you want to try and guess a movie that not a lot of other people have guessed.
Really?
Yes.
What's
so
the last?
You want to keep
the last row?
Released from 2000 to 2010.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, you meant the last column?
Yeah.
Or the last row?
Yeah, the last column. What is does the word "the" count as two words?
So normally it doesn't for 1-word titles. For 2-word titles, yes, it's going to
count. Okay.
Okay.
This is actually harder than I expected it to be because I can't, for the life of me, remember certain movies like Hilary Swank. Like, I have one for the middle. If you need me, Dante, I have one for Adrian Brody for at least the column.
I might need you for all of Adrian Brody because, fun fact, can't put a face to the name right now.
Can't put you can't put a nose to the face.
No,
that didn't help.
No.
All right. Well, so Dante, let's work through the easy stuff first. Okay. So let's do the Leo stuff.
Yeah. All right. So 2-word title. I already said Shutter Island.
That's what you want to go with?
Yeah. Why is that a bad one?
Well, so like you said, the whole premise is like you want to try and get ones that other people haven't said. So is there any other ones that you think are less likely for people to have said that you can think of that is a 2-word title? Like I have one in my head that might be a good option for you.
I'm trying to think of Leo movies, and now I'm like drawing a huge fucking blank. Great Gatsby?
That's not a terrible choice, dude. I think that's better than Shutter Island.
I think Shutter Island would be a better choice.
You think so? I have one that's better than both of those.
Well, now I'm curious. Is this a team game now? Like, do we all just try and figure out what
you have 3 phone a friends? I don't know if it's a great time to use it on Leo movies because I think you'll need me on some of the other
later.
ones.
Yeah. All right. We'll go with Shutter Island.
We'll go Shutter Island. All right, let's do it. 17.6%.
That's pretty good.
So is that like good? Like you want a lower percentage?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
I would have loved to have known what Basketball Diaries did.
It's probably a good one. I think we'll get a quick you get like a synopsis at the end of like what the most guesses were, or what the most guessed movies were, and what the least guessed movies were.
3 or more word title. Catch Me If You Can.
That's more than 3 words, Dante.
3 or more. It
says 3 or more.
Oh, 3 or more.
I can read. Okay. You can't.
It's a blurry for me. I thought it just said 3 words.
I read it out loud.
Okay, I don't listen.
Three or more. I think Gangs of New York could be good.
I have another one in my head too.
Okay.
I don't know if he's in it. I think he is.
Run it by us.
Well, Dante can't. He can only use me 3 times.
I already gave my guess. Like, I'm not using you.
Oh, so that's your
All
guess. Put it in.
You're not typing. Oh, never mind. It was just delayed.
You can't read, motherfucker.
I'm gonna go ahead and guess that this is gonna be above 50%. Oh snap!
It's pretty good.
Okay.
I was thinking the Hateful Eight.
Was he in that?
I'm not good with release years.
Maybe I'm wrong. I'm confusing that with Django.
He was definitely in that. And that's only a 2-word title.
Yeah. I wonder how much.
Released from Leo DiCaprio, released from 2000 to 2010.
Fuck. I'm trying to think Leo movies now. Is The Great Gatsby that old?
You already. Yeah, that would be in that pocket, I think. Yeah. He gave you one already, Dante. That's in that pocket.
Oh, the Gangs from New York one.
But yeah. I'm pretty sure
never
that's.
Seen Gangs in New York, Dante?
I'm pretty sure
No.
that's in
Damn.
early 2000s. I'm worried that it's late 90s, but I think it's early 2000s. Do you want to go with that?
Yeah, Gangs of New York. Sorry, I thought I heard somebody knock on the door.
7.2.
Hey, all right.
So I can
All right,
help. I can definitely help you with 2 out of the 3 for Hillary Swank.
For Hillary Swank, all I got is middle tile, and I'm lost.
What's your middle tile?
$1 Million Baby.
That would have been my middle tile. That's going to be probably the most popular.
That's going to be, yeah.
Yeah, but I can't think of any other Hillary Swank movies.
I have a 2-word title for you. You just let me
I'd like
know.
to phone a friend.
Freedom Writers.
Oh, fuck. I knew that one.
Talked about that 2 weeks ago, man.
I'm blanking on what other movies that she has done. These are 2 tough actors going Hillary Swank and Adrian Brody. Like I have 2 Adrian Brody movies though. I just don't know if the one is from 2000 to 2010.
So there's only there's 4 Hillary Swank movies running through my head. You've got
4.
You've got The Core.
Okay.
We got $1 Million Baby, Freedom Writers, and P.S. I Love You.
So, Dante, hear me out here. I think this P.S. I Love You counts as a 3 or more word title.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would put that in the middle.
Yeah. Because $1 Million Baby, I think, hits my 2000 to 2010 release.
I would argue that also Freedom Writers does too. But
Freedom Writers would.
I think
Freedom Writers have a lower percentage.
No, but I think Freedom Writers is a good 2-word. But the Core,
I have nothing else for 2 terms.
Well, the Core is
also
actually,
fits it.
I would do the Core in 2 words, and I would do although the Core is also in 2010 to 2000.
Yeah.
2010. So you could do either direction with those, and I think those are your 2 best. Because I think $1 Million Baby
Core probably hits a lower percentage on the 2-word title, and I would put Freedom Writers for 2000 2010. So $1 Million Baby for 3 or more.
No, P.S. I Love You.
Oh, right. What were we doing with $1 Million Baby?
I'm not going to use it.
Not going to use it. Gotcha.
5.9.
Killer.
All right. So which one for 2-word title?
Cover? The Core.
I'm worried that the might not work.
Well,
We'll find
we're
out.
fucked on the Adrian Brody ones that I know then.
Oh, God.
Okay, 11.1.
Okay. And then,
Have you guys seen that movie, by the way?
yes, it's
Nope.
good. Yeah.
Awesome movie.
They have to make it to the center of the earth to save the world.
They have to jumpstart the core. Freedom Riders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the
Why
sound
does-
of freedom.
Why does it disappear when I type the M?
Oh.
5.3.
All right, so
Hell yeah.
All right,
bodybuilding.
Dante, let's go. Adrian Brody.
All right, phone me for the 2-word, Dante.
Ring a ding ding, baby.
The jacket.
The fuck is that?
The jacket.
Dave, yeah,
Hit
put
me,
that
Dave.
The Jack. Which one was that?
Keira Knightley. He has to go into like a straight jacket and into like a fucking like morgue thing, and he's able to like go back in time or some shit.
Okay.
Huh. Is he on the cover so I can finally figure out who the fuck he is?
Maybe.
Oh, great. That's what I get.
He is. Yeah.
I know, I get it, but it's all cut
a no-
around.
A nose to the face.
And I can't remember if the one I have for 2000 to 2010 is in that year range.
My man,
So-
I am blanking on all of his movies other than
So-
The Pianist.
The other one I have is Predators, but I don't know what year that came in.
Mm.
That might that might be after 2010.
That's what I'm worried about. It might be like 2014.
What other movies has Adrian been in?
These are the things where
Man.
people are yelling at the screen, like, because they
Yeah.
remember what it is. The 3-word one is tough because I am
I'm not a
completely
movie guy.
blank
He's
on.
in some war movie. I just can't.
Oh, okay. War movies.
Black Hawk Down.
No,
No.
more recent than that, right, Dave?
Is he in
No, Josh Hartnett, Aaron Eckhart, maybe. Orlando Bloom is in that.
Behind Enemy Lines.
Nope, that's Owen Wilson.
Shit.
I know what you're talking
I don't know that many war movies. Fuck.
Shit.
What's the one, Dave, with the girl from The Mummy in it? Rachel Weisz. Enemy at the Gate?
That's Jude Law.
Is that Jude Law?
I think so.
Fuck. We might fuck ourselves on the 3-word.
There's no, like, give me a hint.
No.
No.
All right, so I think the other movie you said is more likely in the 2000 to 2010 than Predator. I think Predator's risky.
What was the other movie you said?
Yeah, what did I say?
I don't know.
Pianist?
Yeah, The Pianist.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
I think I do think that's in the
20 to 2010 range. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure that is. Adrian Brody's such a weird fucking actor.
yeah, and it's one like just that
He doesn't.
he's gotten I feel like high acclaim, but like I've just never seen any of
He's done a
those.
million movies, but nothing is standing out in my head as like, oh yeah, I love that Adrian Brody movie.
Considering I have nothing, I'm going to look it up out of curiosity, but I won't tell you guys anything.
Why?
Why? Because you guys got to figure it out now. Ah, that guy.
Yeah, just look up his face and then see if that jogs any memories for you.
Unfortunately, it did. It's just he looks familiar.
I think that you're hitting on something with the war movie thing, but I can't pull what it is. It's not like Heartbreak Ridge or whatever. What's that Andrew Garfield movie? No, it's not that.
Oh no, it's not that.
No. What are some other like modern war movies that we've got?
I'm not a big war movie guy. Is the problem?
He's not in like Thin.
Like outside of like The Covenant, I don't think I've watched anything recent for war movies.
He's not in Thin Red Line, right?
The Covenant. I think that's it.
I don't think he's that's Jake Gyllenhaal. I don't think he's in that.
He's not in that.
I think that's it.
I don't think it is. We can try it.
And what would
but
that, what would that help us?
It wouldn't help us, no.
Yeah.
It wouldn't help us because it's only a 2-word.
Oh, he's talking about Thin Red Line.
Oh, you think it's Thin Red Line?
Yeah.
Does that now count as a 3-word? Oh, it's more than 3. 3 or more. Yeah, I mean, we don't have another guess.
So we do that and the pianist?
Yeah, I think I'm just doing it. I'm doing it.
Yeah, fucking go for it.
Let's go, Lenny.
That's it? And then the pianist, right?
Or do you want to go Predator?
I just am not 100% sure on that being a 2010 movie. I feel like it might have been a couple years after it. Are you worried that the pianist is going to be too popular?
Yeah. I think it's like borderline. Like it either was like 2010 or it was 2011. I feel like.
My thing with like, if we have a popular one, we've done really good on the Hilary Swank and Adrian Brody ones. No, it's Predators. It's not The Predator. It's Predators.
Yeah.
Isn't it? I think it's just. I mean, if they let it be that way, I'm pretty sure it's just Predators. But so you don't want the pianist.
Oh my God! There's Predators and The Predators.
We're sure we don't want the pianist because we know that hits the year range.
I don't know, man. I want to risk it for the biscuit.
All right, go for it.
Fuck it.
We're sure it's Predators and not The.
Yeah, like 90% positive on
that. Ooh, 13 was kind of high. All right. What do we got? Most popular guesses. What's Eating Gilbert Grape, The Revenant, and Catch Me If You Can.
So you could reuse? I didn't know you could or is that just saying?
No,
like,
you can't.
Okay.
It's just those are the most popular used in those categories.
Yeah. Damn. So Freedom Riders was at 39 in the 2-word.
Nice.
And yeah, the pianist would have been the most.
That would have been the most for 2-word. Oh, and for okay.
2-word titles, yeah. Grand Budapest Hotel. Never saw it.
No. The Jacket though. None of these motherfuckers saw that shit.
Rarest guesses: Total Eclipse, Quick and the Dead, Body of Lies.
Forgot about Body of Lies.
Would not have. Yeah.
The Resident. Yeah, did nothing for me.
Who was the middle? Oh, Hilary Swank.
Black Dahlia. Okay.
No, Black Dahlia I know of. I haven't heard of either of these.
Josh Hartnett movie, right?
Is that Negan?
Yes.
And then Angels in the Outfield. He was in Angels in the Outfield. Oh, shit.
And then I know the music one looking at it now, Cadillac Records, but I've never seen
Beyonce.
it. I can't believe The Jacket's not the rarest of the fucking... the fuck?
Yeah, that was like 4 point something.
But we're in the top 3%, right?
Yeah.
Top 3% of players today. Hell yeah. Nice job, Dante.
Hey, for what it's worth, dude, you were more rare than any of the most popular answers. On the ones you came up with yourself, dude.
Fair.
Okay. We're gonna. I had today. I learned we're gonna skip that just because we're running up time right now. I did really quickly want to do a right or wrong with you guys, and
Sure.
it's more of who was right and who was wrong. Okay. Did you guys see the Joey Chestnut news from today?
Oh my
No.
god, that was going to be part of my thing. Yep.
Yeah. So Dante, do you know who Joey Chestnut is?
No.
He's an American
Oh,
hero,
dude.
the greatest American athlete maybe of all time. He's won the Nathan's hot dog eating competition 17 times.
It's a damn shame that you don't know my man Joey Chestnut.
He's like
Okay.
he might be the single most decorated U.S. athlete of all time. Joey Chestnut, American hero, represents us every year on the 4th of July in the Nathan's hot dog eating competition.
Hell yeah.
As of today, he is not allowed to compete this year because he signed a contract for a food deal or a marketing deal with what's the brand that does the vegan options?
I don't know the brand, but yeah, it's basically a vegan.
What's they did the Unstoppable? No,
Oh, Impossible.
Crustables?
Impossible. The
Yeah.
Impossible burgers and like stuff like that. So he did a
Yeah.
deal with the vegan food company, and because they're a competitor, Nathan's has barred him from taking part in their competition this year. And I
My
just
answer's
want to
wrong.
ask you guys,
Wrong.
who is right and who is wrong here? Yeah. So you're saying it is wrong of them to bar him from it.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say the company he signed with told him he can't do it.
No.
Nathan's is telling him he can't do it because he signed with this other company.
Yes. And he's not saying he wouldn't eat the hot dogs on 4th of July. He's just like he's signed to a vegan meat alternative company.
They're just butthurt that he is now advertising with a competitor that, like, I don't know. Like, yeah, it's a competitor in your market, but like, dude, you're going to have so much more negative press by now banning this guy than just allowing
All
him
press
to.
is good press.
And like you say, it's a competitor, but the reality is, like, is anybody who's like eating like Nathan's hot dogs going to be like, oh, Joey Chestnut's like talking about this other company, I should give up meat and go vegan? Like, they're not even a fucking competitor. It's a completely different lane in all reality.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like you did an American hero dirty is what I think. Like, this guy has given his body for our country year after year. On the most American day possible, he shows up every year and defends the crown of America as the most gluttonous community in the world, and he does it proudly. And they just said no mas.
Absolute shame.
Wow. That was very well put.
No, I know.
Yeah. You're clearly very hurt by this.
Well, Dante, you should be more passionate about our heroes. Because last time it was women that you didn't support, but now you don't support American heroes. Next, it'll be the troops that you're coming after, dude.
Bro. This is a fucking setup.
Quite frankly, you might be what's wrong with America.
Here we go.
What say you, sir?
I don't know. You backed me into a corner. What do you want from me?
Because it feels like to me that you're saying that Nathan's hot dog is right and Joey Chestnut is wrong.
Whoa. At what point did I say that? I was with you.
With the lack of America's support that you're providing, it just feels like that's the side that you're on.
No, I'm all for, Viva Las America,
Okay. So we're all in agreement.
English here?
Right or, yeah.
What happened?
That might be the most American thing he can do, though, is speak Spanish, Dave.
It's the backbone of this country.
Yeah. So we're all in agreement. Nathan's is fucked, dude.
Yeah.
Are we boycotting? We're not eating there.
We're going ballpark Franks for a little bit.
I'm not going to sit out here and say that I'm boycotting and I'm going to like advertise on a boycott, but I'm not watching.
No, I am interested. He's only lost one time in the past like 18 years. He lost to Matt Stoney.
The The only thing that's gonna like garner any interest in the festivities is to see if my boy Badlands Chugs, continues his reign of the lemonade chug.
I've not. I need to get into the lemonade chug.
Oh, dude, you gotta watch Badlands Chugs, man. The man is a force.
Maybe that's the new competition we're into now. That's America's new pastime on the 4th of July. Lemonade.
Till the lemonade companies piss somebody off. Who's popular for lemonade? Tropicana?
Minute Maid?
Simply?
Anybody want to sponsor us?
Oh, man.
And great way to segue here. Because if you're drinking all those lemonades, you must have it.
Dave, do you have it?
Yeah, I think it's on the tip of my tongue. Yeah, I think I got it.
He licked his lips. He has
I like
it.
that.
He has it.
Yeah.
Taste. That was good.
One of these days.
No, me and you were on it, dude. Me and you were on it, dude.
I'm getting up to speed.
Dude, it's hard enough with the two of us. You had a third in, like.
At least you said it this time.
There's all kinds of delays and satellites and this thing's happening.
GPS.
You have satellite internet? No, mine's cable, like in America.
It's on that Starlink, baby. Did you guys see what happened with Starlink in that like indigenous country?
Oh yes,
I feel like I did see that.
They gave this indigenous, like Elon Musk gave this indigenous tribe internet for the first time ever, and they just got to
watch a fuck ton of porn.
They just got addicted to porn.
Yeah,
and they're worried it's going to destroy their whole community because they were like morally like an ethically strong community that now is just watching like the most vulgar porn possible on the internet.
They're all just into BDSM and shit.
Oh my god, dude! I love that. That's like you give a person the internet for the first time anywhere. The first thing they're going to be like is, "Where can I look up fucking?"
Yeah, how could you have not seen that playing out any other way?
No, yeah, it's like it's leading a horse to water, dude. Like you give a teenager the internet, they're gonna jerk off.
Fair.
Yeah. All right. So let's start off with me and you, Dante, because we both saw one other movie in the movie theater. So let's run through that really quickly. So we saw The Watchers.
Yes, we did.
Okay, I can start here. So the first thing that I realized halfway through this movie, I was like, or by the time the third act was starting and some stuff started to get revealed, I was like, I'm watching a Shyamalan movie. I'm getting Shyamalan right now. That's what I was saying to myself. I'm like, yeah, because I didn't know. I went in unknowingly being Shyamalan. And and by the third act, I was like, this is a Shyamalan hit job right now.
Yeah, you know right away.
I know a Shyamalan when I see one. and lo and behold, like daughter, like father, dude. Like they just make the same types of movies. So this is his daughter's first directing role or time directing a movie, I guess.
Okay.
And yeah, she very much learned the tricks of the trades from old Pop. And it plays out basically exactly like what you would expect a Shyamalan movie. I actually wrote a review on Letterboxd for this, Dante.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can find it on the internet.
I can read it.
You're gonna read it.
I can read it, yeah. So 2 out of 3 of the acts of this movie are solid. Guess which one falls flat? ... Runs in the family, I suppose.
Oh, my God. That's how you dropped it? Yeah. Sick.
Dude, like, so interesting premise. Dave, are you familiar at all with the movie? Like, what it's about or anything?
Going into, like, a room in the woods with the mirror and monsters, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, so, like, you go into... She is bringing a bird. She works at a pet store, and she's got to bring a bird to, like, the zoo or some shit. And her car breaks down mysteriously in the woods because for some reason, like, her GPS took her through like the middle of the woods on a dirt road to get there. and her car just shuts off. And she like goes looking for help, and like she all of a sudden her car's just like she can't find it. She's just like lost in the woods. And she comes across these people that are like, you need to get inside before nightfall comes. So they bring her inside. They make you stand in front of, you're in a room that has 3 solid walls and then a glass wall in front of you that's like a 2-way mirror. And basically every night you have to be inside before it gets dark out, because if you stay outside you'll die. And there's like these things that come and watch them from inside of, like from the outside of the room, and you have to like appease them and make them happy, or like they'll lash out at you, kind of. Interesting enough premise, like, and it's like you hear the premise and you're like, but there's a twist.
Shyamalan.
You're about to get Shyamalan.
It's always an interesting premise with a fucked up twist.
So Dante, what did you think of the first 2 acts of this movie? Like, to my point.
I liked it. I mean, I think it was like enticing enough to want to figure out like what exactly is going on in this forest and in this cabin. Like, you're kind of locked in. Like, it was cool. I didn't necessarily love the twist at the end either, though.
It was like slow moving. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's not like the fastest movie in the world. Like, there's just a lot of dialogue and stuff that's just kind of there.
Yeah, but I think there was enough to like keep me intrigued.
Yeah, like, so there's like holes in the ground that these things go down into in the day because they can't be out during the day. And what Dakota Fanning's character like is the more
that's who she was. I was like, why does this lady look familiar?
She's the more rebellious of all of them. She's the newest to like come to this room. The rest of them have been there for a while, and there's a woman who's been there for years that has kind of taught them the ways that you survive out there, and like you have to play by certain rules to not upset whoever's outside at nighttime. And she goes down into one of these like holes that you're not supposed to go down into, and she like retrieves some stuff, and she basically upsets them because she finds a camera and she finds a bike, and they use the camera to try and set it up because they have a TV in this room, and they try to use the camera to be able to see what's outside every night because they've never seen them before. And like I thought that stuff like was good enough to kind of keep you interested through the whole time, but you don't really know what they are. They're able to. Then you have some scenes where like one of the girls' husbands was with them, and you see him getting killed at the beginning of the movie, and they mimic like the husband to try and get them to open the door at nighttime, and if they open the door, they're all going to die. And that's where they upset the things outside because they realize there's a camera that they're trying to watch them with because they tell them there is. And like, so all of that's like super, like not super interesting, but I thought interesting enough to like draw you in and keep you interested in like, where's this going? Like, what's happening?
You want to know more about the creatures outside and shit.
Yeah. But you want to know the twist, Dave? You want to get spoiled?
Lay it on me. Was one of them in the room the whole time?
When you know us, when you've seen a Shyamalan joint, you've seen them all, baby. So here's the twist. So basically, they find that the last night that they really piss these motherfuckers off because they get locked outside after nighttime one night, and when they get back into the room, like these guys, like the things outside know that they did, so they just start destroying the glass and like trying to get in more than they ever have before. And they find that underneath the floor where they've been this whole time, there's a door that leads to a hatch that goes down into an underground bunker. And you find out that a scientist is the first person who went there, and he built the house. And he's been studying. He's a historian, right, Dante?
He was a professor, but yeah.
Yeah, he's studying fairies and how fairies were on Earth before, and that this is where they were, and he's gone here to study them, and he's built this whole like thing. Basically, he's hired like immigrant workers to build this like thing for him, this fortress.
He pulled up to a Home Depot.
Yeah, that's what he's been doing. Dead ass. That's the way they basically explain it. Like he just pulls up, takes people, uses them to build this thing during the day, and then is just like lets them get killed. He locks them out at night every night, basically, and just has them get killed. And he's there for what is like 500 days or something, Dante.
I forget how long.
Like
He was
for a
there,
long time, and he eventually like he captures one of these things. And the thing about the fairies is that he realizes that they're trying to mimic real people. So they have the ability to replicate what people look like and their voices. And the more that they look at you and the more that they see you, they're really just studying you to become you. So he captures one of them and he has them in the thing. And then like the next video you see is him being like, I should have never done this. I need to fucking kill the one that I captured. And I'm going to kill myself. And you see him crawl up in the hatch and he goes and you just hear 2 gunshots go off. But he tells them how they can escape in that video as well. He's like, if you ever find this, go past the mile marker here. And if you keep going, you're going to get to a boat and you can use the boat to get out of here. So all that's fine. But then you find out once they get back to land, which I was worried, Dante, were you all worried when you got to the bus scene that the movie was just going to end?
Yes.
And I was like, this is a terrible ending, was what I found.
Yeah.
Like
I was like, damn, they got out and that's it. Like, this is stupid.
I was afraid it was going to end there, or that all of a sudden the fairies that actually can't leave the place where they are because they're trapped into like the sacred ground. I was afraid that they were all of a sudden going to just surround the bus and start fucking like attacking them for leaving. But they didn't. And you find she goes to the professor's office because he asked that if they got out alive, that they go and destroy all of his work so nobody goes back there and that the fairies stay trapped in there, basically. So when she goes back, she goes to do that, but she finds a picture. And the picture is of his ex-wife or his dead wife who died of cancer. And his wife is the same person that was the person who's been in the bunker with them the whole time that they helped escape. And you find out that the fairy that he kidnaps is the fairy. He gets her to mimic, or that fairy to mimic his wife. And that's actually, she kills him and has been like waiting this whole time to be able to escape. But she never knew how, I suppose, is like the premise there.
That part didn't make sense.
She couldn't watch that same video.
So I don't think she knew, because at some point he locks her upstairs in the house or whatever. And so I don't know if she knew, she had to know that the bunker was there, of course, but she didn't know, I think, that the videos were there for her to go and watch them. Or maybe she didn't know how to do it because they're mimics. Like they have to be able to have seen somebody do it.
True. Yeah.
You know? So I don't know why she never went back into the bunker, but like it's basically been hidden the whole time that she's been up there with people. Just basically like learning from them and trying to become more human by watching them like right up close. And you find out that like the reason that she's able to leave, but none of the other fairies are able to leave, and the reason that she was able to mimic so much closer to a human is because she's actually a halfling. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You just got Shyamalan, my friend.
And that realization that she was a halfling is the only reason she let them live.
Humanity.
It's the dumbest fucking thing in the world.
Fairies, man.
Yeah, so Dante, star rating?
2.5.
Also 2.5 from me. While I thought the ending sucked, I think it's better than all of the other horror movies we've basically gotten this year, except for Abigail.
Funny, because I put it directly behind Abigail.
Yeah, so I have it at 21.
22 for me.
So, like it was creative enough, and it kept me like. Let me say, we've talked about this. Most of the horror movies that we've gotten this year have just been very mediocre. So, like this at all having like an interesting premise that kept me like being like, all right, what's kind of happening here, was enough to win me over to be like, well, the ending is bullshit for the most part. The rest of it was good enough.
Yeah.
Cool. And Dave, do you want to talk the Hitman?
Oh God. I mean, I can kind of talk about it.
Was it bad?
I watched an hour and 8 minutes of it, and I had to turn it off.
So the one thing I want to point out to the people, Dave hates Glenn Powell. I learned
He's
this.
awful. Awful.
Dante, how do you feel?
I mean, he's okay. I don't hate him.
I don't think he's a hateable guy.
Well, that's the thing. Like, that's the thing. Like, as we were talking about the other day, like, I actually, like, I can't figure out exactly where I stand with it. Like, I don't hate him, but like, I kind of feel like I do. And like, I kind of like him, but I haven't seen one singular movie or role that is good.
All right, hey, hold out for Twisters, bro.
So like, that's
You
that.
didn't like him in Maverick?
No, no. What did he
What?
do?
He's good in Maverick.
Wow.
He tried to basically be Iceman. Like, okay, we've done that. Val Kilmer, much better. It's just, I think the thing for me is, like, I think he's just a pretty Hollywood face. He is such a cookie cutter actor, not going to do or say anything controversial or upsetting, and he's just this,
Won't get
like,
canceled, God forbid.
he's just this pretty boy buff guy in a movie that
I don't need
has
all my actors to be rebels.
So you don't like. I feel like you don't like him because he's too likable.
no. So, like, I think I was also saying, like, I think Chris Hemsworth plays the exact same person, but he has a personality, and he's funny.
But Dave, the only thing that gave him a personality is Thor Ragnarok.
No, I like, as a person, I feel like all of his interviews in and out of everything has been super memorable.
You haven't seen Anyone But You, right?
No.
So I think that, like, because of the run up to Anyone But You, and then Anyone But You, the movie swayed me to be like, I think that this guy has, like, something about him that is making him get cast in all of these now up and coming. Like, he's kind of one of those it guys on the next precipice of, like, being a guy in Hollywood, and that's why you're seeing him get cast in these movies, because there is a certain charm to him. He brought back rom-coms in the movie theater.
That's something near and dear to your heart, but I don't think Dave cares as much about
But that's
it.
where I'm saying it's like, okay, and I'm not saying like you're wrong to have the opinion, but it's like, it's just like, I feel like our gripes with him is that he's too pretty and he's too likable.
No, he's just boring and forgettable as a person.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, those are hurtful words, dude.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, I think, like, what, like, that was the whole point to the beginning of the Hitman, is that he's just a very boring and forgettable person. And I was like, cool,
But he also
perfect
was
cast.
wearing like a terrible wig to make him that person. Like,
yeah, whatever. But I will say, like, I think I was out on Twisters when we talked the other day, even though I love the first movie. But I will say, seeing the trailer for that in theaters before Bad Boys, I was actually very excited,
yeah, it looks fun.
I think, to see it.
Daisy Edgar Jones, dude. I'll keep saying her name until that movie comes out. People will know.
Don't know names.
Normal People. I keep trying to tell you guys, watch Normal People. Everybody out there.
Like the Adam Sandler movie?
No, that's Funny People. Normal People is a Hulu TV show, 8 episodes. It's fantastic with Paul Mescal in her.
Okay.
Paul Mescal, the son of Mario
Pedro Pascal?
and in The Gladiator. Soon to be Gladiator 2. I don't know if he's going to be his son. I feel like he is. So the movie, I don't think it's very good. I think it's weird because it's getting a lot of praise. If you read like Twitter and shit, I feel like it's getting a decent amount of praise. But it didn't do a ton for me. Like, comedy didn't really hit. I thought like him and the lead were good together. But I thought, like, I don't know, the ending didn't work that much for me. Do you know the premise, Dante?
No.
So Dave, before seeing the movie, did you think that he was a hitman?
I mean, the title of the movie kind of lends it to that, but I had no knowledge of the movie whatsoever, and I didn't really think about it.
I thought from the little I knew about it that he was a hitman. He's not. What he is like he works for the police station and he sets up their tech for when they do stings to catch like lovers who like want to try and get their significant other murdered.
They want to hire a hitman.
Yeah. And they do like sting operations. And one day, the guy who does the job gets suspended for beating up teenagers on video. And he has to step in and do the job, and he ends up being really good at it. So then he just goes on to wear a bunch of like different disguises to act as a hitman and get people arrested until one day he meets this girl who he doesn't feel like he's attracted to her, and he's like talks her out of killing her husband and assumes the identity of the character that he plays and begins like dating her basically. And she's under the impression that he's a hitman. And things escalate from there.
Stupid.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I thought some of it was good, but it definitely wasn't. It wasn't as good as I had hoped it would end up being. So I would say
the premise at least sounds like it could have been.
Yeah, like it's an interesting enough premise, and like I think like it's cool. Like he like the different characters he plays throughout it, I think are kind of funny. And then like things definitely get like a little wild towards the end. I think like it kind of amps up a little bit, but yeah, I didn't think it was good enough. Like it's not one I would really recommend as like something you need to go out of your way to watch. Like I suppose if you have nothing to do and it's like a Friday night or something and you just want to throw something on, go for it.
I guess now I want to know what was it that made it so bad that it was to the point where you turned it off, Dave?
I think it was a mixture of it just being stupid and me just not liking him.
Yeah, he hates Glenn Powell.
So it's just you saw too much of Glenn Powell.
He might walk out of Twist.
I watched this movie as a consolation of the conversation that Lenny and I had, and you know what? Let me give this guy a chance with this movie, and I just couldn't do it. Tried to give him a chance.
Didn't click for him.
So boring.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't think that there's enough happening to like keep you super entertained. Like I think that if you put it on, you're going to watch a movie, like fucking finish it. It's not that bad. But like I don't begrudge Dave's opinion on it. I don't agree with his opinion on Glenn Powell himself, but this has not been the best version of Glenn Powell I've seen.
Okay.
Him trying to transition into Ron while like trying to obviously like date this girl was just, I don't know, to me maybe it's not as high of a level of awkwardness, but man, I got like Scott's Tots levels of like awkwardness
I didn't get
out of that whole conversation. Like I was just
I don't know.
It felt
like,
so weird.
I think like we've seen movies like this where like rom-coms like this where it's like mistaken identity and you have to start lying to the girl to set up the inevitable, like she's gonna find out the truth. And I thought that the way that they executed the like finding out the truth stuff kind of worked for me towards the end. But I just think like honestly, I think that the last like third of the movie is better than the first two acts, in all honesty. Because I don't know what part you turned it off for, Dave. Like if you know like what it like builds up
to. No, because it really hadn't built up into anything. Like he was in the middle of like dating the girls a couple of times.
So do you guys want the spoilers?
I don't care.
Dave, you're not gonna watch it.
So
he gets hired to do another hit or brought in to do another hit, and he goes in and he finds out that it's the girl's husband trying to put a hit on her. So yeah, he tries to put a hit out on her. He's like, like he basically like threatens him or whatever. And then he finds out like a day later, he gets called into the office and find out that the husband's dead. He's been murdered by a drug dealer is what they say. And you know the guy who was originally like the hitman, Dave?
Yeah.
He sees them out on a date. I don't know if you got to that part. in the movie. So he sees Ron and her out on a date. So he like recognizes who she is, and he starts to like be onto them, like, hey, like you're dating this girl that you like met through the job or whatever. And they start putting two and two together, and they're suspicious of the girl for killing the husband. So Ron goes back to the house to see the girlfriend, and he's talking to her, and she admits to killing the husband. She's like, yeah, I killed him. Like, you said that he was going to kill me first. So I went and killed him. And he's like, wait, you can't fucking, like, she's like, you're a hitman. You kill people all the time. Why is this so weird for you? He's like, I'm not a hitman, though. Like, I'm not. I'm actually like the guy who fakes being a hitman to get people arrested for doing that stuff. And it like spirals into this whole thing of like the guy blackmailing them because he knows that like they think that she was involved, and he's been following them. So I think the last third is better than the first two. Cool. Let's move along.
I mean, dude, I was expecting a whole situation where like now he needs to like basically like, I don't know. I guess I thought the story was going to go like where she's saying that like her husband was like such a bad dude that like he was actually going to be some sort of like big fucking bad dude, and that eventually like him and his boys were going to come looking for her, and your boy Ron was going to actually have to like fight and like kill and shoot people.
No, it's the opposite to where like you find out that like there's some shades of gray here to where she's like, and you kind of see it throughout the movie, like she is way too okay with him being a contract killer. She gets a gun herself, like is kind of okay with the idea of killing. And then you find out like that he had a life insurance claim that he took out, like the husband had taken out a life insurance claim. So there's like, and she's aware of it. So like that can be part of why she wanted to get him killed. But Ron does kill someone. He ends up killing the cop dude, and they're able to like they use that, like they're able to cover it up. Dante, you have anything that you watched outside of The Watchers?
I went to AMC Screen Unseen last night.
You saw that old bitch get hoodwinked and have to go on a spree through the city?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thelma was good. I liked it.
Yeah, I don't know. I read that and I was like, I don't see this.
Bro, it was like Beekeeper without Jason Statham. If Claire Huxtable didn't take the easy way out.
That's exactly what we said.
Yeah, I read the title. I was like, I don't need to see a 90-something-year-old woman in an action
movie. Obviously, there's not like a ton of action because she actually is like old and unable. But I think it's a fun perspective in the way they take like simple, mundane things and make it an obstacle in an entertaining way.
Yeah. How was the turnout?
It was actually pretty packed, but I mean, these AMC Screen Unseens have been selling pretty well anyways.
And did anybody leave?
There were a few walkouts in the beginning. I think like 3 or 4 people walked out, and then probably like another like 3 or 4 like 20 minutes into it.
They went into an old white woman. I get it.
Nah, but I was there. I was like, yeah, let's ride.
All right, so you would recommend?
I would.
Okay. What do we give it?
Yeah, that's why I'm double checking now because I think I ranked it pretty well. I gave it 3 stars and I put it at 14, just ahead of Ezra.
I don't believe that for a second.
What? I'm telling you, I did.
Like, I think you're overrating. You're a prisoner of the moment.
You'll have to watch it when it comes out officially on June 21st.
I might. I mean, I say I might. I'm going to end up probably seeing it. I just didn't care about seeing it yesterday.
I mean, you watch it and you're probably still going to think I'm overrating it, but yeah. I don't think this is a movie that like probably appeals to you. But at the same time, it is a good movie.
But like, it appealed to you?
Yeah.
Were you picturing your abuela?
Well, yeah, no, it's a 94-year-old lady, and my grandmother's about to turn 94 this weekend. Like, I was like, oh, shit, yeah. Imagine if they scammed my grandmother and she just thugged out and was like, yeah, I'm finding them motherfuckers.
That doesn't take away the realism because you know that your like grandmother would not do that.
Oh no, I think my grandmother would actually is the funnier
Or
part.
could.
They made it all seem very like possible. It wasn't like super over the top, and that's why I liked it.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll reconvene on this in a few weeks when I see this.
Okay.
Dave, you got anything?
Yeah, so like I think I got like two quick ones. I don't have a whole lot to say, but obviously, like you guys know, Star Wars: The Acolyte came out last week. They dropped the first 2 episodes.
Boy, do we.
Yeah.
Third episode came out today. Haven't got a chance to watch it yet, but I'm definitely in disagreement with a lot of the scores and the talk out there of dislike of the show. I thought it was decently like interesting story to start off, and I liked a few of the characters. There were a few misses, but I think it's just a fun new take in the Star Wars universe, which is something that I've kind of wanted and for a while, because I'm definitely tired and sick of a lot of the same stories being told in different ways. Between like the newest trilogy that we got was just more of like a Skywalker saga, um, Book of Boba Fett. You know, you had Andor, Obi-Wan. It was just a lot of the same stuff. So I would like to see the Star Wars universe get fleshed out more with more characters.
The trailer definitely made it look interesting. Is this something where I have to be like a Star Wars nerd to pick it up?
No, no. So it's set,
But
I
you would
think, like
agree that
1,000 years.
most people are Star Wars nerds.
Why are you trying to say it like I'm saying it as an insult?
I am.
I mean, nerd is just another way to say aficionado.
What does NERD stand for?
I have no idea.
We'll look up Pharrell Williams later.
Sure.
Sure. But yeah, I mean, I don't have a lot to kind of to talk about it.
What's Anakin doing
Yet,
this?
but yeah, you know, he's get him out of here.
He's gone again.
But
Hayden left again.
I like dude. I see. What are these guys' characters' names?
The girl from the
his name's Master Saul. Is the dude from Squid Games.
Never seen it.
Well, yeah, it was good. But you know, I'll have more of a review and kind of in detail in the next couple of weeks as more episodes come out. And then the only other thing that I'd say that I'm super excited for is the kind of re-release to theaters of the Lord of the Rings trilogy next weekend.
Skipping the Fellowship.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Who gives a shit about these fucking trees talking and these bitches walking?
Right here.
Okay.
If you like
Okay.
it, then you should have put a ring on it.
Dude, Two Towers, fire movie. Don't get me wrong, but like, I don't know how I feel. I've never like. I think Fellowship's like only there to get you to Two Towers, and I'm mostly bored through it. And then Return of the King's too long.
Aren't they all like 3 hours?
No, so like Return of the King's 3 hours. The other ones are like 2.5.
I think that might be 2 of your worst takes of all time.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
How was the Amazon show?
I liked it.
You're the only one. That's your worst take of all time, Dave.
You didn't watch it.
That and Glenn Powell.
Glenn Powell's trash.
Yeah, here's the thing, dude. I don't disagree. I think I would watch them again in theaters. But I would really be like, again, I'd be watching Fellowship to be like, okay, let's get to fucking Helm's Deep, dude. I need to get there. I need to see Legolas fucking slide down the shield on the stairs. Just arrowing bitches up.
So good.
I need to see Gimli get thrown across a gap again or something and attack people. Do you guys play the Lord of the Rings games at all?
Like Years ago, yeah.
I
PS2.
Yeah, I had the Two Towers video game. Awesome.
Yep.
Helm's Deep in that game, fucking great, dude. Fighting outside the wall, trying to keep back the horde. Fucking the wall. They're trying to go and blow up the wall, and you have to try and keep fighting like the orcs and shit from like getting to it. Sick. Loved it. Dante, you have anything else?
Nah, I'm all tapped out.
Let me put you guys on game real quick.
Nah, I'd rather you didn't.
I'm going to. You don't have Netflix anyways, but like, let me put you on game. You know how I love shark movies, right?
Oh no. What do you got?
So there's a movie that's in the top 10 on Netflix right now that just came out, I think, in the past week, called Under Paris. And it's a dubbed movie, which not my first choice generally, but it's a pretty good dub. It didn't really bother me at all. Like the lips don't really, they line up pretty well. It's not bad.
Does like can I guess?
Hit me.
Do the catacombs get flooded and then overrun by sharks?
Somewhat, yes. So there is a scientist with our team, and they tag a shark, and they go back to see it again. And this is real. In the middle of the ocean, there's like a big ball of plastic. You know what I'm talking about? Like there's like
trash island.
Yeah. So there's like they're there, and they go and they've traced the beacon back there, and they go to check up and get a sample from the shark. And the shark has grown from being 2 meters to being like 4.5 meters in like the matter of a couple months, and it's supposed to be still a baby. And they're like, what the fuck? And the shark ends up killing the whole like the team of divers that goes down. And the only one that gets like there's 2 that get out alive. And she's for the past year just been working like not going and following sharks anymore because she lost her whole team. One of them was her husband. So she's working at like an aquarium now or some shit. And the other person who's alive comes back and tells her like, hey, like we were able to reactivate the beacon on that shark, Beacon 7, and he's in Paris. And they're like, that can't be fucking real. So they go and check it out. They're trying to like check I guess it's called the Seine, right? They're looking at that, like trying to track it. They can't. People start turning up dead and coming up. It's kind of like Jaws. They have like a huge like the world triathlon is coming there, and it's going to be taking part in they go to the mayor and they're like, there's a shark in the Seine. You can't do this. Like people are going to die. And the mayor's like, you're going to cost us a ton of money. And she covers it up and refuses to tell anybody about it. So from there, like you start finding out that like the shark is breeding in the catacombs under Paris, and they can't figure out why because like there's no male shark. It's just that shark. And they realize like it's actually a new breed of shark that they've never seen before. And it goes from being this one huge mother shark to being like hundreds of baby sharks as well. And there's a bunch of stuff that pops up, but the thing that like sells this movie, because honestly, it's like fairly like paint by numbers. To your point, it's easy to kind of predict some of it. But the best part of the movie, in all honesty, is towards the end. The army gets called in. They're the ones overseeing the triathlon. And the sharks start attacking everybody who's swimming in the triathlon and killing them. And the army just starts firing fucking rounds into the water. And on the water in the Seine, under the water in the Seine, there's all these like these fucking rounds from World War II that are just like in there, that are dormant, like they're not active. But because when there's all the impact happening around it, it like shakes up the earth and causes one of them to like go up, and it comes back down and it clicks in and it like reactivates the explosive, and it goes off, and that leads to a chain reaction that just starts blowing up the whole waterway through the Seine and like blowing up bridges and all this shit, and it causes a flood. And basically, like the movie itself, fine, whatever. But the most exciting part of the whole movie is the very end of it is basically the entirety of Paris is underwater, and they're just surrounded by sharks.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's the abridged version.
There's a lot of like things in there, that like maybe I don't believe, all that much, but
Well, it's not real, Dave.
I don't think sharks breed in bunches.
They explain this. So like they explain basically like the new breed of shark that this is. It's kind of like honestly it feels like a mixture of like Jaws meets like Deep Blue Sea a little bit, where you know how like they're like, oh, like sharks can't swim backwards and like shit like that. Like the basically this breed of shark isn't supposed to be a saltwater. They thought it was a mako. It's not. It's adapted to be able to swim in fresh water, and it has babies, and then the babies they find a dead body of like, or they get one of the dead bodies from one of the sharks that they're able to kill, and they're examining it, and they're seeing all these changes that have happened for it to be able to adapt to the environment, and they cut open the side of the shark, and a bunch of baby sharks fall out of this 2-month-old baby shark. So they're already reproducing like months after they're born. And that's why like the sharks are able to just keep replicating so fast. Again, it's not a real fucking thing. So
Aliens.
Suspend your disbelief, you know? But it's crazy because like the movie just sets up like there's no finality to it, and it's just a zoom out shot of these like they're the two protagonists just on top of like this thing just out of the water in the Paris with all of this destruction around them, and it's just shark fins just fucking up everywhere, swimming around. And I think visually it's cool. Like I like the premise. Like I understand it's not realistic at all, but I love shark movies, and I like that they did something like interesting to set up a sequel. So yeah, Under Paris, people. If you're looking for like a summer shark movie to throw on, it's on Netflix. It's a fun time.
I'm good, man. I've already got the was it thalassophobia? So like I'm all set with
What does that mean?
Fear of the ocean.
Well, this isn't in the ocean.
You're afraid of the ocean?
Dude, that shit is scary. Yeah. It's like infinite. No, it's not, but
it is in
it
a way.
is.
Like in
not.
The scope of what we know about it, the fact that we know more about space than we do about the ocean kind of makes it infinite.
Yeah.
Like we've explored so little of the ocean that it's like there's so much more unknown that I think that makes it infinite. I understand that there's a finite amount of water in like space in the world, but like we know so little about it that like I think it makes it kind of infinite. Like they say that like the deeper and deeper they go down, the more and more species they find that they didn't even know existed. And like megalodons might be real, dude. Well, they were.
Might be.
It's not that they might.
Well, they definitely
real.
were.
They were, but they might still be alive. Just out there in the depths, dude.
Lenny's such a shark lover. You fucks with that idea.
I would.
I got one final question. Not for you guys. Did you guys ever watch Quiet on Set?
No.
Oh, the Nickelodeon thing?
No, we're opposed to supporting rape culture.
Are you?
Yes.
Damn, that's a crazy shirt you're wearing.
Yeah, that's a good point. Damn it, you got me. Blur this, Dante. So my point makes sense.
No, that was sick. That was a good setup. I like that.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Lori Beth.
It's been eating at me for 2 hours, man.
Yeah, no, I can't watch that, dude.
It was tough. It was rough, especially like Amanda Bynes. Like,
yeah, it's just knowing the outcome for like what some of these people kind of had go on, and then like some of the stills of stuff. And I remember hearing like Miranda Cosgrove, like from iCarly, talk about like it was like her birthday on set, and he just kept coming up and like awkwardly like putting her arm around him, and like she said she was really lucky because the guy who plays her brother, like the one older person on set, like saw it happening and like made a point to keep like shielding her, like stepping in and intervening so it would stop.
Yeah. The fact that nothing's ever happened with this dude
is it like a statute of limitations thing or a lack of proof?
A lack of proof. It's all creepy like stuff, but there's like
There's no like concrete evidence that he actually did it.
cross the line. Yeah.
Well, maybe we need to crack that case. Maybe we're the ones to take down. What's his name? I fucked with Drake and Josh. I feel bad for Drake Bell. It's one of the last Nickelodeon shows I feel like I watched.
Yeah.
I don't know what I could.
Well, no, because iCarly came after that, right?
Yeah, but I didn't personally watch iCarly. You're a bit young.
Oh, I thought
you're a bit younger, so I feel might have.
A little bit, yeah.
Little baby.
But no,
I didn't watch either of those.
I watched Drake and Josh a bit. I thought it was funny.
No.
Not as funny as like All Bad or the show or stuff like that. Keenan and Kel's my favorite. Of any of them.
Who loves orange soda?
Like Keenan and Kel, like I remember the episode where Keenan's gonna move away. I remember I got a little teary eyed.
Oh damn.
So it's like, no, dude, Keenan, don't break up you and Kel. It's hit me in the feels. All right. Well, if we don't have anything else, we've gone a record amount of time here. If you are still here, we appreciate you. And once again, like if you are still here and you want to help us get a sponsorship from Bass Pro Shop or Outdoor Unlimited, what's the store? Not like 911 or what's the one with that used to be in the Braintree parking lot? You know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Damn it.
I don't remember.
Oh, 511.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. REI.
Yeah.
Yeah, any of those. Eastern Sports or whatever. Eastern Athletic Sports. Spalding. You want to help us get a Spalding contract? Any of them. You know how to do it. Just have to drop a like. Just type in some comments. Share the pod.
At them.
Yeah, at them for us. And hit the notification bell up top. And with that being said, we love you. Peace out. We bid you fale adieu.
Later.
Ski ski.
For those with good taste.